I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. Best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
I'm here. Welcome to the show. Welcome to America's Third Party. At Third Party is our insignia online at Twitter. And I am David Sponheim. Today is our Wasteful Wednesday show. Somebody said we should call this Wacky Wednesday. And I'm more than willing to call it whatever you want. You can call it whatever Wednesday. Whatever you want. Yeah, sure. We never have sword fight. No, Sarah and I'm trying to get her to play badminton with me. I picked up this amazing, badminton net and some badminton equipment, but she's so busy, we haven't been able to string up the net and do it. We have the room to do it, though. So we are dealing with a new allegation regarding Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah, it seems pretty serious. Collins is privately raising concerns about new allegations, lack of subpoena for Kavanaugh's friend. Let's see. Let's start with the statement. We know that Christine Ford is going to be making it there. Hopefully, she's driving rather rapidly across the country. She's going to be at the hearings. But there's another person who stepped up with testimony, a third person. Michael Avenatti took her testimony. And it's Julie Swetnick, accuses Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. It goes deep. She details parties where girls allegedly were drugged and raped. Yeah. By all the football players. They purposely kept the beer spiked with alcohol so everybody was drunk and couldn't control themselves. Wow. Considering we just saw Bill Cosby get 3 to 10 years for something similar, this is an important allegation, and I'm thinking she should probably testify too. And Ramirez should testify, the woman who said that Brett Kavanaugh put his penis in her face and forced her to suck it. Yeah, that's a serious allegation. We've got allegations in the yearbook, alumni allegations of references to a woman named Renate. who just found out about this recently and says, "Oh my gosh, I was made fun of." Yeah, so she's going through like a latent 35-year later feeling of being violated. Thank you, Scissor Fight. NBC News has a story. Senate probe new allegations of misconduct against Kavanaugh. Yeah, Supreme Court nominee was asked about an anonymous accusation of physical assault. Wow. The Senate Judiciary Committee inquired about at least one additional allegation of misconduct against Brett Kavanaugh, according to a transcript. I argue this guy is dirty. Plus, the Senate doesn't have access to 90% of the information about his days as a judge. It's sealed. Everything's sealed with this guy. So it's got to somehow be sealed because he's been doing things rather illegally. I'm saying the woman was definitely, she was high on alcohol. I mean, you get women drunk, and apparently these guys were doing that. Their inhibitions are down. My goodness. This is the most disturbing series of stories about a guy who the Republicans have stuck in front of us, who's obviously got allegations up the wazoo, that we're supposed to give him the reins of the Supreme Court to side with a bunch of other womanizing justices, like Justice Clarence Thomas, who obviously was grilled about Anita Hill, and they went ahead and passed him. These are the people that are going to decide the fate of women and their right to have an abortion? Seriously? Wait a second. So men who rape women are the ones deciding that women can't have an abortion? Wow. Allegedly rape women, excuse me. The Democrats have their own skeletons in the closet. We need to investigate Clinton. Why won't Trump do that? How come Trump hasn't opened a detailed investigation of the Haitian racketeering and embezzlement charges? The Clinton Foundation is pretty much dirty as hell when it comes to missing $5.4 billion. I mean, I would have thought that Trump would have started an investigation. Why hasn't he done that? Because he's deep state. Trump is deep state. Trump is part of the problem. He's essentially a puppet who's easily controllable. Lots of monetary liens against him. Deutsche Bank has $1 billion note with him. And they're the ones who were accused of money laundering with the Russians. I mean, are you getting this picture here? Just look at the whole thing. He's not stopping the deep state, people. He's not doing anything to establish that Clinton or Obama were frauds, which they were, on many levels. Unbelievable. And here I've been censored for 10 years, and you come to my show and you don't realize that I've been kept down in my own country. You don't have any freedoms in this country. We are completely shunned because we're not rich like they are. I think you know that. Diplomats say they were definitely laughing at Trump at the UN. I am extremely upset about this. There's nothing worse than a bunch of people laughing at our president. They need to be punished. We need to cut all funding to the UN. This was my idea all along. Trump only cut 25%. We need to cut all of it. The entire Millennium Directive should be shut down. We'll save $55 billion, and they can go whistle Dixie or whatever they're going to do. No one should laugh at our president at that level, especially when he's saying the truth. We are a great nation. I'm not a big fan of Trump, as you know, but I'm not willing to sit there and denigrate the president or his office. We need good people in this office. We don't need a worldwide looking in, taking our money and laughing at our president. It's uncool. I don't like it. Okay, we're skipping the content. Let's see what we have here. Twitter, Cato Institute. What's this about? It's not coming up. Yeah, nothing. They must be getting a lot of hits there. Okay, so we have pictures of President talking and everyone laughing, but why bother? It's not important. Let's not make a big issue of it. We've heard testimony from various sources. Kavanaugh asked about 2 new anonymous allegations in the Senate interview, which he denies. I think we have to wait till Thursday to really bring all this information in and kind of sort it all out. I am not denigrating the presidency, office of the presidency, ever. Never. I've always talked about having, a person in the presidency who deserves to be the president, not a man who literally took the White House from me or from anyone else illegally with Russia's help. The White House, the presidency, should not be laughed at this point. We need to impeach him. Big difference. But letting the world laugh at us, that's not cool. If he's going to be a tough president, he better start being tough with the UN. Otherwise, he's a total shill for the New World Order, because they're using the UN to control us. You look at every army document in our country. We've got the civilian detention plans that have the UN involved. The Strong Cities Network the UN is involved in. The Resilient Cities Network, it's already been implemented in various cities, all with UN approval and involvement. We shouldn't have the UN in our country. So, Donald, if this was ever your Waterloo moment, this is it. Stand up to the UN, tell them that you don't like being laughed at, and impose major restrictions on the Millennium Directive. Do it, Donald. We'll respect you for it. Yeah, and even he was taken back. He did not expect that reaction. So it's time for us to start imposing our will on these ragtag idiots who are trying to skim money off the top, like Kofi Annan, the late Kofi Annan, and his son, who literally made deals with Russia and France apart from our sanctions against Iraq. And we had to fight a war in order to stabilize the situation, all because of Kofi Annan's behavior. At the top of the weapons of mass destruction claim, which of course didn't pan out. Yeah, so I don't think Trump has done enough to defend our sovereignty. Yeah, he should expurge the New World Order from our country and stop the UN. He acted like he was afraid to say anything. I was ashamed at the fact that he said it's okay. It's not okay for them to laugh. I would have just stopped right there and walked out, and then imposed sanctions of my own against the UN, shutting all their funding off. We're not going to go anywhere with the UN running our country, folks. If Trump is going to stand up, this is the time. But no, he's turning on our NATO allies, the people that Russia wants him to turn on. He's trying to stop NATO from being strong against Russia. That's working for Russia. Oh, that's right. Trump's working for Russia. He's not working for America. I forgot. No wonder he said he's okay. He didn't mind. He doesn't mind if he throws America under the bus. Nice. European Union wants to control the internet, and you. Wow. Let's take a look. It's not unusual to be. Okay, we're going to take a look at reason. The European Union wants to control the internet, with the future of your online experience being controlled by some random overseas bureaucrats that you would never and could never elect. If the EU has its way, it may very well be the case. If not, they may fragment the international nature of the internet as we know it. Yeah. I'm completely against the European Union trying to force their will upon us. NATO allies, that's a different story. The EU is an arm of the New World Order. They're trying to do that. Denigrating a man who's clearly above his head, above his pay grade, should not be. No. If I told a person he was mentally retarded and I had to fire him, I'm not trying to denigrate him. Thanks, Mad Dog, for supporting Roe v. Wade. I don't think I would. Maybe they feel bad if I called them mentally retarded, but if they were mentally retarded, the medical term mentally retarded, I don't consider that a problem. No, I think Trump needs to be removed because he's probably subpar intelligence. Impeachment is just the step that we need to take in order to remove the Russian influence from our country. It goes all the way to the top. We can't allow the Russians to rig our elections. We need a new presidential election in the coming month of November. We're not going to get it because Congress is like in sludge, unable to move, constipated. But whatever. We do need another election for the presidency. This president is illegal. He shouldn't even be in office. And he's misrepresenting our country around the world. I wouldn't necessarily want to alienate the UN, but I'll tell you, if they were to laugh at me while I made an important statement, it better be a funny joke that I said. Otherwise, I'm walking with the money. I'll take the money and we'll save America $55 billion over a 10-year period. That's a start right there. I'm going to save $55 billion for America. Let's just get started with eliminating the entire Millennium Directive. So I just saved $55 billion. Isn't that nice? Yeah, I don't think we should even go back to the UN other than send our representatives over there. Maybe a Secretary of State could go there. We certainly don't need to put our president at risk anymore. Donald, if you're listening, give up your cell phone and your connection to Vladimir Putin. Have the CIA or the NSA take their cell phone away from you. Right now, Donald has a cell phone with no access. The NSA can't listen into any of his calls. He has a private cell phone. He refuses to release it. Yeah, I'm serious. It's a national security risk. Okay. A seal smashes someone in the face with an octopus. This should be good. Yeah, he has his private cell phone. He's probably calling people on the phone. And, hello, Vladimir. What do I do now? Should I send troops to Syria? Where do you want us to be when you attack us? Dented can chief says the secret police are after me. Okay, we'll see you later. Your elected officials receive how much money from AT&T, Verizon, and Comcast? Doing some investigation of our own here. Yeah, I'm excited to find that out. Let's grab that monitor. It's the whole monitor. See what's going on over there. I got a couple layers of tabs. Okay, let's see. Your elected officials accept how much money from the telecom industry? There's no doubt that technology can be wonderful. Anyone experiencing car trouble will tell you that having a cell phone can literally be a lifesaver, but it's actually not necessary for millions more cell towers to be installed in front of homes and everywhere else so you can all have cell phone service. Unfortunately, this may happen anyway thanks to the FCC's many U.S. elected officials due to their unrelenting push to pass legislation in order to win the ridiculous and highly risky race for 5G. Oh, excellent. We got a video tonight. Good.
The interconnected world of the
True Steam Media.
The future will be the result of decisions we must make today.
Everyone knows that government agencies are corrupt. It's common sense. It's clear that the system is broken and they're all crossing.
We'll have that video for tonight. Thank you. Truth Stream Media. It's disturbing to see our president walk his way into big, bad, disturbing moments. Donald, if you're listening, stay at home and get rid of your cell phone. British model turns pieces of her labia into designer jewelry. Really?
For Complex News, I'm Sean Evans with a cautionary tale for those of you who are trying to save the world, one X-rated Snapchat at a time. A 27-year-old mother of two, Tracy Kiss, her real name by the way.
Okay, I think I've seen enough. We have a family-oriented show here. I don't think turning her labia into jewelry is important, Howie. David, how about all those parents coming to the border? Most of them are effing citizens and getting arrested just for picking up their child who's been kept in a cage. I know, Hambeast. Trump won't even answer to the 2,300 kids that are right now being held captive by our country. Oh, it's an atrocity. It's not too early to play Mr. Right. I will completely release those children to their parents' custody, and we'll give their parents some money, too, to help them raise their children. Even if they're illegals, I don't care. What we've done is tantamount to abduction or kidnapping. Our country should release them and give the families a chance to, get back on their feet. It's crazy what we've done with all these illegals, all because of a zero tolerance plan. This is why I'm the best choice for 2020. I'm Mr. Right.
I find if my feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good. Just turn my world around. Cause you're the peace I find. If you sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. Mr. Right, too good to be true.
Okay, we're up and running. So now you can have a normal show. We've got more relaxation going on. You know, I'm not a big CNN fan. Ever since Anderson Cooper took over, and he doesn't have any journalistic experience beyond what his parents, the Vanderbilts and Astors, gave him, working for the CIA. I think many of us have to realize that the people in front of us in the mainstream media are lying to us daily, that their entire veneer, that their whole position is just a fake position. They're just basically feeding us talking points that we're supposed to banter around. What's really happening is 90% of the information that Brett Kavanaugh has been involved in is being sealed from even our senators. How can they make a credible decision when 90% of all of that information is top secret? He's obviously been dirty all these years, and they don't want anyone to see it because it shows a history of dirtiness. When he was a prosecutor, he didn't prosecute the Clintons. That's right. Bill and Hillary were in the White House when Vince Foster died that night. Then they found his body across the street with 2 bullet holes in it, one in the front of his head and one in the back of his head. And the prosecutor said it's okay, it's a suicide. And that was Brett Kavanaugh. Can you imagine ruling the Vince Foster death as a suicide when he was shot in the front and the back of his head and his body was moved out of the White House? Hillary, you got some answering to do. I hope you're in good health. That's one thing. The other thing is we've got this history of not handling his money properly, $200,000 in debt due to buying national lifetime passes for his friends to party with and drink beer at the Nationals, at the baseball team. I mean, a season ticket for somebody's expensive, and he bought a bunch of them for all his friends and went $200,000 in debt. That's not a normal thing for a man who's got 2 kids to do. Something wrong with his judgment. And I argue that he probably doesn't remember any of these events because his brain is fried from all the alcohol he's been drinking. From what I understand, this guy's a heavy drinker. He needs to do a wellness check to see if his liver can even make it a year in the Supreme Court. We're not going to give any money to illegal aliens, no. Goon Jabby, I'm so sorry. The U.S. citizens in this country will be getting $400 a month if they want it. Anybody who wants this money will be available to get it. All you have to do is prove that you're a U.S. citizen and provide a few witnesses to corroborate that. I don't think it's okay, no. He put a cash down payment on $1 million house? Brett Kavanaugh did? No kidding, really? Well, that's interesting. That makes me think maybe he's getting a little money on the side to, look the other way when he didn't want to prosecute the Clintons. Maybe that was worth some cash to him. I wonder what Hillary paid him to look the other way during that time period. You got to wonder. Facebook is giving advertisers access to your shadow contact information. So Mark Zuckerberg was never punished by a Senate subcommittee hearing on internet security. He never had to face the music. He should serve jail time for what he did with Cambridge Analytica. Mark Zuckerberg should be arrested. No one gets an advance on their money until 6 months into the process when we start doling it out. Facebook is giving advertisers access to your shadow contact information. This is not good. Yeah. Last week, I ran an ad on Facebook that was targeted at a computer science professor named Alan Mislov. Mislov studies how privacy works on social networks and had a theory that Facebook is letting advertisers reach users with contact information collected in surprising ways. I was helping him test the theory by targeting him in a way Facebook had previously told me wouldn't work. I directed the ad display to a Facebook account connected to the landline number for Mr. Alan Mislov, his office, a number Mislov has never provided to Facebook. He saw the ad within hours. They're gathering contact data that you never provided to Facebook, and they're using it to fund a information sharing profit operation. Isn't this unreal? I will lower the boom on Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and every other technocrat, plutocrat that thinks that they can control our privacy and not even get any kind of oversight. I promise you that. Hi there, Pedro's half-brother. Well, I think we're okay. You guys have a freedom of information sharing. Well, I want to get back to the important people at iVlog. I've been ignoring you. Jackoff Bandit said, Robo, every place with a name plays the same territorial game. Better people, better beer. Why roam around? The world Eden was so near. Are you writing poetry? Yeah. That's amazing. You take the time to give us your poetry. That's special. That reminds me of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood when he shared his information.
Poetry.
Well, he did poetry, didn't he? Not really.
I don't know,
I
maybe.
never watched the show, so I wouldn't know. She hardly ever watched the show. Sarah's here. But she really liked Mr. Rogers.
Yes,
But
I did.
it's too late to watch the show now. I mean, when you're an older person. I mean,
Why?
Really? So we can watch Mr. Rogers together.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like fun.
Well, a friend of mine was talking about her child having a slide whistle.
Oh, from Mr. Rogers.
And I said, oh, I should send you this Mr. Rogers clip about the slide whistle.
You should, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a new movie out on Mr. Rogers. The story, he actually testified in front of Congress to stop violence in television. And he was really, really amazing. I saw the movie. Sarah hasn't seen it yet.
I have not seen the movie yet.
It's really good.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Hey, well, we talked a lot about the new allegation. The third woman has come forth with allegations saying that Kavanaugh and a bunch of football guys used to drug and get women really drunk with spiked booze, and then they raped them. And she's come forth, this woman, with a signed testimony that she knew this. It happened all the time. We had other evidence that his dorm looked like a pigsty, that people had vomit all over their bathroom, and they never cleaned it up. I mean, the story that's becoming like everyone's last worst detail, we're having to hear about this guy and his behavior over the years. I can't even believe he made it to the judgeship, let alone all the way to the Supreme Court with his behavior. Thank you, Insane Canadian. All right, I will be back shortly. Do a sleep cast? No. Okay, we have a really funny meme.
No. You guys.
I'll play it later.
Why don't you just give them the link to that meme?
Okay,
just the link.
Here's a really funny
and
link.
Other ones, and they can go click on the link themselves if they so choose.
There you go. I don't want to go public with that one.
Yeah, you don't need to put that on camera. They can click the link. And if you missed it, you should watch our live show more often. And then you can click these awesome links that we share. Somebody
asked me if I would get food stamps for illegal aliens. I said no. Right now we're giving food stamps to illegal aliens, and our $400 a month plan removes that illegal alien food stamp connection. But I never said I wouldn't feed them per se. I've offered to offer multiple areas where food banks will be filled with food, and we'll make sure that no one starves in America. So don't get me wrong. You're mischaracterizing what I'm saying.
Thank you, The Real Giant. I don't think David has sold out, though. So
I've never sold out. I wouldn't be censored if I sold out.
I will give you the link to the funny meme if you'd like. And just so you know, we're not married, so. Okay, and I wish I could do, like, just do this. I want to show the chat. Let's see. I always have to go big with this, and then click. There's the chat, and then, well, no, the chat disappears. I don't like that. I hate this mouse. I hate it. I hate it. David, buy me a new mouse. That's all I want for Christmas. Well, maybe something else. When David becomes president, that's when we will get married. Probably. Maybe I should use my phone as a trackpad. I heard I can use my phone as a remote. Stopped but figured out. Homelessness must not be stopped but figured out. Yes, okay. Do I want to get married? I don't want the government involved in my personal relationship. So really, no, I'd rather not. I don't think I do want to get married. The most expensive mouse. I mean, it's supposed to be a nice mouse. It has a scroll wheel. It has a... But it just is not good. I think it's been too used and it doesn't... The clicking is the problem. I don't like it. I can't stand it. It like partially works. This mouse actually works well. And it's got, you know, it's got the light and it clicks, works, and anyway. I probably could find a better mouse at Goodwill. David thought for a while it was a trackpad, and I said, maybe it is. I don't know. Let me look through, see if I can click on. Yeah, maybe it is a trackpad. Okay, so I don't like this mouse pad. Get rid of this mouse pad. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just want a better mouse pad. Maybe that's it. Let me, yeah. Okay. Wow, this is pretty cool. What is this? Ventusky.com. I don't know what it is, but I should show it to you because it's pretty interesting. Isn't that interesting? It's like ocean waves or wind waves and swell off the coast of North Carolina. Show present day forecast. That was back when it was in the hurricane. This is present day. That's pretty cool. I like that. Is it all that one? Or is there... Ooh, you can search for a location. Let's go to Los Angeles, California. Here we go. Los Angeles, USA. Ooh, this is neat. I like it. Oh, that's very cool. Oh, scroll out. Ooh, how cool is that? I like this. You want an extra, extra large mouse? It's hard to find. Looks like a lot of weather down in yes. Okay. Glorious. Here's the mouse pad I want. Extra, extra large, wide, long, black mouse pad, stitched edges. Ooh, that is a pretty mouse. I don't know. I think it's the color. It's either the colors. I see why this mouse pad is really filthy. I'm just going to get rid of the mouse pad. I wonder, see if this mouse will actually work on just a... without a mouse pad. Oh my goodness! Works without a mouse pad. Well, not really. Kind of. Oops, I got rid of something. That's way better. So it wasn't the mouse, it's the mouse pad. Alright, I'm gonna throw it out. Or just over there. Okay, I'm just doing it on the just, I don't know what this is called. Formica pressboard plywood something. You recommend I watch the Fahrenheit 451 remake. Yo, you've been wanting to tell me since Saturday. I haven't seen the original Fahrenheit 451, but okay. That would be good. Yeah, until it like is horrible like that, Chef Gordon Ramsay, where it makes you think that you need a new mouse and you just need a new mouse pad, then that's not very good. And David has so many tabs open. I click on a tab and they close, and I didn't mean to do that, but okay. You'll buy me the best mouse because I'm beautiful and perfect. Thank you for thinking so. It's Wacky Wednesday. You're so happy. That's fantastic. I had some wacky things happen today too. Wacky prizes. Yes, of course, I've heard of Fahrenheit 451. I might have even read part of the book. But I really want to go back and read the books first, or at least listen to it on audio tape. I always want to read, but I don't. It's better to listen to it just because of time issues. Thank you, Pedro Armando. There's a 4-button programmable mouse you use. That's cool, or Sky. Real Magoo says the U.S. Army is 60% combat arms and the rest is logistics. Supply and repair guys. Yep, when someone says they're in the Army, it doesn't necessarily mean they're infantry. Wow, Ghost. Yeah, I believe it. And personally, I don't blame the judge. It was a death threat? Yeah. Against a judge? Yeah. I'm not surprised he gets 20 years in prison. Yeah. Hello, Mad Dog 1968. Sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. Did I hear about a teacher that was fired for giving children a 0%? No. Okay. I don't know, Roboscales. That's a good question. What percentage of an octopus is the suction cups take up? Do I think what is the work of the deep state? It's. When you say it's and you refer to pronouns 9335, it's hard to answer that question. Do I think octopus are the work of a deep state? Maybe. Oh, the Kavanaugh thing. I think it's all... I do think that oftentimes Washington politics is all intermixed, like a big inbred family. Yes, I have heard that, Misanthropy. Well, WNDU in Florida. Interesting. I I believe homework should definitely be reading, but I do also believe that teachers don't know what is happening at home, and that even though, we should hold the kids responsible, how many people other than education have jobs where they have to take work home with them? A lot of jobs are, you go to work, you do your job, you leave your job, you leave your work at your job, you go home, and you don't have to take your work home with them. Yet we expect students to take work home with them, even though they've been in class for a very long, they've been in class all day, like a full-time job. But I would say that it's very, very, very important to read every single night, because there's a really great picture of a kid, or it's like books. If a child reads 20 minutes a night, starting in kindergarten, by the time they reach 6th grade, it's like they've read the equivalent of 60 school days worth of reading. That's the best thing that you can do. Read with your child, have your child read to you. Reading is very, very good. Okay, 969 says, Sarah, work for adults is stressing as it is. Homework for students is meant to keep their mind active, not stressed. Do you think that they have schoolwork all day that also can be stressing for them, which is supposed to keep their mind active and not stressed? And reading is so nice because it's you can, what's so great about reading, it activates your brain, and it's so wonderful. It's like watching a movie when you can read and understand all the words and you understand what it says. Oftentimes it's better than a movie. Read. It's the most important thing that you can do. Reading is just so vitally important. Read. Read.
Read, read, read.
There we go. Sorry, I had a little issue with feedback there. It is so important. It's fine to repeat that message of reading. All right, I agree with John's message. Reading is important, and what is even more important is understanding what you read. Actually writing about your reading, questioning what you read, those are very, very important as well. Being able to synthesize your reading, summarize your reading, all of those are very important. Okay, speaking of reading, let's do a little bit of trivia. Yes, I agree. Rex is correct. Comprehension is crucial. If you don't understand it, if you don't comprehend it, read another book like a dictionary so that you can comprehend the words. Good point, Miss Anthropy. You don't like reading philosophy forums because you feel like people took a philosophy course but yet don't have a deep understanding of philosophy. I disagree, Chef. I know it seems easier to watch a movie, but it's just when you read, you're making a movie in your mind. All right, we're on the letter C. And we're working on life science trivia, and I'm reading. This is my evening reading. What is an agent used to transfer bits of DNA into the DNA of a cell in genetic engineering? Common types of these include the genetically engineered viruses that infect a cell. And that's perfectly fine. If you don't have to read fiction, you can read textbooks and instruction manuals. I prefer nonfiction as well, I think. We're on the letter C. The answer is cloning vector. A cloning vector is an agent used to transfer bits of DNA into the DNA of a cell in genetic engineering. New clue. What is an ecosystem in which no materials can leave or enter, but through which energy from external sources can flow? The Earth is in one of these. The Earth is an example of one of these. So, no materials can leave or enter, well, except through obviously a spaceship. But energy from external sources like the sun can flow into the earth, so the earth is considered this. Sometimes you can do a biosphere would be considered one of these too. Wow. Yes, sleep well. Bad dog. I think you're right, Pedro. The answer is closed ecosystem. Closed ecosystem. Wow. Isn't that amazing, Chef? You can barely write your name anymore thanks to keyboards, but you can type it. Oh my goodness, I disagree with you so completely. All right. The Earth is a closed ecosystem. What is a group of 3 bases on the DNA molecule? Each one of these determines the identity of one amino acid in proteins made by the cell. Yeah, Polyshore and Biodome was in a closed ecosystem. Hello, deja vu. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I've lied, people. If I'm ignoring you, I forgot to click the link to join the room. Hello, NATASF. All right, that was close to the ecosystem. This one was, yes, Hamby's got it correct. Codon. A codon is a group of 3 bases on the DNA molecule. And each codon determines the identity of one amino acid in proteins made by the cell. Wow. Can you read your own writing, Miss Anthropy? That's what I always say. If you can't read it, I can't read it. C-O-D-O-N, codon. All right, new clue. What is the process that occurs when 2 species influence each other during evolution? For example, an insect may evolve specialized parts that allow it to feed on a specific flower, whereas a flower evolves to facilitate pollination by that particular insect. That's good. I'm glad you can read your writing. Oh, that's pretty cool. Deja vu is no. Handbeast is correct. It is. Oh, that I like how you said that 528. I would accept that. It's coevolution, but not 528, 582. I'm sorry, I transposed your numbers. Co-evolution or complementary evolution is 582, said it. Sometimes I do transpose numbers, it's true. 766. All right, animals such as what are animals such as reptiles, fishes? It says fishes, but I would just say fish, and amphibians that cannot control their body temperature and therefore become sluggish in cold weather. These are often seen sunning themselves to warm up. Correct, Pedro and Handbeast. 582 divided by 7.248. 3, 4. I don't know exactly, but it's close to 80. I will slow down and take my time to pronounce the words. Good advice, 766. All right, you can tell him that, Jack. Thank you. All right, so that was cold-blooded animals. Good point, Miss Anthropy. What is the development through evolution of similar features of organisms with distinctively different ancestors? A common example of this is the evolution of wings in insects and birds. I think that's good, Chef Gordon Ramsay. That's a good guess too. I like your words, 582, but that's not what it says here. It calls it convergent evolution. Get an eraser and fix it to collateral development. Sure, I can show you a little bit what I'm reading. I did show some people about, there are some pictures. So I think I showed you this, the cells, the two different cells. The top one's a plant cell, the bottom one's the animal cell, and then down here are chromosomes. So there you go. Okay, that was convergent evolution, that where like insects and birds both have wings. What is the fertilization of the ovum of one plant by the sperm of another? Sometimes I do teach science, yes. Cross-pollination. Oh, cross-fertilization, I mean. Cross-fertilization. What is a class of arthropods with shells? Crabs, lobsters, shrimp, and crayfish all belong to this class. 582 is correct. 248 is correct. Close enough, Jack. Crustaceans. Yes, Rex is close enough. C-R-U-S-T, crust. And then instead of it's like crust and then the word ocean, but instead of an O, it's an A. Crust ocean. Because they live in the ocean, most of them. And they're crusty. Or they have the shell. All right, what is the material within a biological cell that is not contained in the nucleus or other organelles? It's just kind of like liquidy, just floating around. Correct, 582. Correct, Ham Beast and Rex. It is a cytoplasm. All right, now his first name starts with a C, but his last name starts with a D, so this is a perfect transition from C to D. Who was a British naturalist of the 19th century? He and others developed the theory of evolution. This theory forms the basis for the modern life sciences. His most famous books are The Origin of Species and The Descent of Man. His ideas were later misrepresented by some social theorists who developed the notion of social Darwinism to justify practices such as child labor in 19th century England. Oh, okay. I'll take that as a compliment, I think. 340. Correct, Pedro. Wait, Dirk has it. Wait, chat room celebrity. Wait, Hambeast had it correct first. Then chat room celebrity. Then Dirk. Then Pedro. Then Howie. And no one at iVlog got it. Except, I guess Jack did say... No. 248 got it correct. And Jack, maybe. His name was Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin. Who said this wasn't a picture book? I should show you some pictures now. Look at that. Dinosaurs. From left to right, we have the Triceratops, which is 30 feet long. The Tyrannosaurus, 50 feet long. And the Stegosaurus, 29 feet long. We also have DNA, Oh, wait. DNA? You have... And on here, the G and the C are across from each other, and the A and T is across from each other. We also have a picture of Dolly, the cloned sheep. There's Dolly. I know, that's my favorite dinosaur, Triceratops. I already showed you the cells and the... Oh, here is a picture of... I'm going to go back. Here's a picture of bacteria. Bacteria, that's an E. coli bacterium with pili, tiny hollow projections used to attach to surfaces. What's David's favorite dinosaur? Well, that's pretty cool. It's dark with light lettering. Wow, interesting. That was a pretty good picture of me because I was smiling, Misanthropy.
Okay.
Oh, and did I show you the amoeba?
Oh, yes.
There's the amoeba. All right.
That's what I think aliens look like.
You think they look like amoebas?
Yeah, I don't think they have like spike heads and sharp claws. And I think there might be life forms outside the universe, but they're probably amoeba-like creatures. Hi. Sorry to interrupt your.
Do you have a favorite dinosaur?
Show. I do. The Brontosaurus.
Is that the one that's now called the Apatosaurus?
I'm not staying on top of the new nomenclature.
Or was that the Stegosaurus?
I'm not big on the new.
I'll let you know. You like the Brontosaurus? I did this one just recently.
Let's find out about the Brontosaurus. It's not there.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is.
It's a larger herbivorous.
It's a vegetarian.
Yeah, dinosaur, perhaps the most familiar of the dinosaur. The scientific name has recently been changed to Apatosaurus, but Brontosaurus is still used popularly.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm changing the scientific name back to Brontosaurus.
The word is from the Greek, meaning thunder lizard.
Thunder lizard. Thunder lizard.
It made big noises, but it just ate vegetables. You know my favorite dinosaur?
The Tyrannosaurus Rex?
No. The Triceratops.
Triceratops. Oh, Triceratops. Okay, is that a vegetarian or a carnivore?
I think the Triceratops is a vegetarian.
Really?
Too.
Because I'm a vegetarian
Let's look.
kind of person. I try to avoid overeating meat, but there is beef on the stove. I made a nice sirloin steak for you. And
I was so hoping you would do that. I was driving home thinking how much I would like a hamburger.
And there's some Tex-Mex rice there. It's actually really has a kind of a smoky taste that the rice does. It's got a beefy, smoky taste.
It has a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it doesn't have the Triceratops.
Oh wow.
That's weird. I think it's also a herbivore.
Herbivore, okay. Yeah, and I had a rice dish that I pulled out of the freezer, and that's got a beefy, smoky flavor. It's good.
Oh, good. And
then there's some vegetables and a few wontons. So help yourself to whatever you want.
A whole big meal for me. I am going to eat because I am hungry.
Definitely.
Because I didn't eat a big lunch.
Thank you so much for coming in. Sarah, it's so nice to give me a break so I can do this, my chores around the house, which I enjoy doing. It's relaxing. The Secretary of Homeland Security said there was no policy of separating families, but a memo proves there was. Yeah. We found this out the other day. Yes, Kirstjen Nielsen is going to maintain, she's maintained that the administration did not enact a family separation policy, but they did. Yeah, the memo signed stated that the zero tolerance policy would have that effect. So they're pleading ignorance when they didn't even think this through. What would happen to the kids when you separate their parents and say, no, you are committing felonies, leave your children behind. Yeah. No, mommy, no, daddy. Said, leave them behind. President Trump has spoken. You people are just overly sympathetic to each other. Separate. And the kids are like 7 years old. Unbelievable. All chores are relaxing and enjoyable. Brett Kavanaugh, Dr. Christine Ford, lawyers for both. Strong Hillary connection. Oh, so you're blaming Hillary on it now? I suspected Michael Avenatti's getting money from the Hillary campaign somehow through crowdfunding. Yeah, they can secretly move money to people. That's why he's forbidden from running for president. And he's been running around telling people he's running for president in 2020. He's willing to do that. That's just not appropriate. You're misusing crowdfunding. It specifically says you cannot raise money for political purposes. So Michael Avenatti's already on a bad starting point here. Sleazy, what did Tucker Carlson call him? Yeah, creepy porn lawyer. Creepy porn lawyer for president. Okay, there's a strong connection according to the story. Let's take a look. Oh, they have strong Hillary connections. Brett Kavanaugh's lawyers and Dr. Christine Ford. Wow, I wonder why Brett's colluding with the Hillary Clinton campaign. Oh, that's right. She was protected from any inquisition regarding Vince Foster.
That's so tender. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I used a little tenderizer from the 1960s. Yeah, I have tenderizer that's cured over time, and it's now the best tenderizer ever. I'm not allowed to raise any money through GoFundMe. Have you read the terms of service at GoFundMe and crowdfunding? You're not allowed to generate any money for politics. You know, the hard thing is you can't get any money except through donations from American citizens if you want to run for any office in America. Okay, here's a tutorial on what's a B and what's not. Let's talk about this for a second. It's interesting. Kavanaugh's lawyer, Beth Wilkinson, is a high-powered D.C. lawyer who represented Clinton aides, involved the FBI in email investigation. Wow. She's also a longtime Democratic booster and married to CNN contributor David Gregory. As for Ford, Dr. Ford, her lawyer Deborah Katz was a campaign fundraiser for Clinton. That's suspicious, yeah. Huh. Well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I will say that this woman may be being put up to doing this. That's a highly likely case scenario. Whether she's being paid for it through crowdfunding, like Michael Avenatti's getting money for his ridiculous attorney fees, which are he's made $470,000 for representing Stormy Daniels so far. Can you imagine? What a ripoff. All he had to do was say that she's not a slut. That would have been free. I think she was propped up, sadly, yeah. I think she was. Okay, so I think we're coming to the conclusion now from various people, and I'm listening to your views like Chatroom Celebrity. You could go fund me on your land, yeah. Yeah, go for it, dude. What's wrong? I mean, you don't realize that's totally legal? Yeah, just tell people you're doing a tiny house experiment with yourself. And you're testing your belief that if a tiny house will somehow find you a woman. Make a scientific study and publish it in Reader's Digest. They'll love you. Yeah, that's all you have to do is come up with a kind of a scenario that people will care. They will donate to you. But you can't do this for politics, ever. Stormy Daniels is now a cam girl. Wow. Jeez. What is she into S&M too? I mean, what are you going to tell me next? Okay, these yellow stripy things, one's a carpenter bee and the other's a honeybee. Carpenter bee acts like it's hot shit but can't actually hurt you, has no concept of what glass is, lives in your fence, flies aggressively to try and scare you away. The honeybee is the bee that needs help most. Excellent pollinator, very friendly, can only sting once. The bumblebee also pollinates stuff very well, so fat it shouldn't be able to fly, and will let you pet it without getting agitated. Actually a flying panda. The hoverfly wears a yellow stripy uniform to scare you, actually can't do anything to you, hangs out in fields, follows you as if it likes you. The paper wasp looks scary but will only attack if provoked. Stings hurt like hell. Will chase you if you swat at it, has no concept of personal space. Yellow jacket wants your food and will fight you for it, never leaves you alone, will sting you just for the hell of it. It's just an a-hole. And the cicada killer looks like Satan's nightmares. Exclusively eats cicadas, can sting you, but usually won't, and it's still pretty terrifying. And then the dirt dauber almost never stings anything except spiders, but builds nests in the ground, hoards spiders in said nest, coolest looking of the wasps. Yeah, I've never seen the dirt dauber ever. So, and I'm not really out in the dirt most of the time. I don't know if she was a cam girl. Would you know that, Misanthropy? Are you heavily into the cam girl scene? Somebody buy 10 minutes of her time and David can interview her live on the show? No. No, that's Michael Albanetti's. He's the creepy porn lawyer guy. That's his job. The dirt dauber. They make their nests in underpasses. Really, meta-nemesis. That's where homeless people live. So the dirt dauber could be a kind of a threat to you. I'm so glad I learned about the bees today. Thank you. Too bad they'll all be dead soon. Thanks to Roundup. Yeah. Some genius coined that name. Well, people were showing pics of their dogs and swollen faces after trying to eat them. Oh, it's pronounced cicada. Okay, thanks. Who cares? Hey, here's a story.
Well, folks, for my Australian friends, Satan wants your blood if you're willing to give him your blood. In concert with the Red Cross, Satan wants your blood. Satanic Australia revealed their first national blood drive charity event in partnership with Satanic New Zealand, commencing September 2018. Folks, I tell you that each week they're getting more and more bolder.
So this is really these are Satanists who are seeking your blood, and they're claiming it's helping the Red Cross. I'm beginning to believe that Red Cross has been using your blood donated for some other purposes. Doesn't this sound weird? Like, are they spirit cooking with Red Cross blood that's no longer valid after 3 weeks? I don't know. I will make sure we find out what the Red Cross is doing with your blood. Where they're putting it. Yeah, I mean, chat room celebrity says vampires are real. Wow. Okay, here's a photo op. Trump gets 100 countries to sign on to his UN drug war plan, ignoring changing thinking on human rights and legalization. Yeah, Trump is ignoring anything on human rights or legalization, but he wants everybody to jump on his UN drug war plan, which is probably just a way in which the CIA can profit from the drug lords some more. I'm announcing last week to kick off the United Nations General Assembly, global call to action into the world drug problem. I'm assigning my key personnel, Kellyanne Conway, but I found out she said some things in the press about the mutiny that was going on in my administration. So I'm not going to make her my drug czar. Kellyanne can still focus on stopping the terrible opioid addiction problem. Those Satanists are fruitcakes, Dave. Don't let them fool you, fella. I'm not ever going to be fooled by Satanists, dude. I can't stand people who worship dark forces. It's the sickest thing on earth.
Well, thank you so much, Javier. I'm working on perfecting it.
David, I pay cam girls up 90% of my income to perform private shows for me. I work as a chef at Wendy's. I'm 6'6" and I make $70,000 a year. How do you do that? Wendy's? How do you work as a chef at Wendy's? How do you make $70,000 a year? That's hard to believe. What are you serving? Cocaine packets in your cooking? I mean, you must be a drug dealer. Yeah, donating blood is really not that necessary either. Well, most people who are in major catastrophes and accidents, if they just get their blood volume up with D5W, and I don't mean WD-40, because that could really screw your system up if you spray WD-40 in your system. But D5W is the right salted water, purified water that your body needs for volume. That's all you need.
Yeah, you're a chef at Wendy's, and I'm President of the United States.
Yeah, what are you drinking, Rob? All right, I guess we have a Clinton connection to almost everybody since they've been in power, entrenched, and like the Podestas, and nobody's bothering to investigate them. So yeah, it's safe to say that everybody who works in D.C. has a Clinton connection. I mean, really? That's not like a big indictment of anybody. Everybody seems to be connected, and the ones that are not being cooperative and somehow reporting on the Clintons, they're all dead. I don't do people on cue. I'm trying to explain to you. Rancid Shimp Chef. Yeah, I'm not like a puppet. Thank you.
Diplomats said they were definitely laughing at Trump at the UN. I have a feeling the problem was he wasn't taking enough of his vitamins. I've always felt that vitamins are very, very, very important. Fish burgers and vitamins.
I think he should have been on something more aggressive to make him more aggressive. Can you imagine if he had been on what he was on, the coffee he was drinking the day he those 3 different weekly debates with Hillary? That was fantastic. Man, he was on something. I think it was coffee. He had the sniffling thing going on. It was kind of weird. You remember that?
Trump gave him some vitamin D, and I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think you're really kind of messed up here with there's so many objectifying statements about women that we shouldn't even joke about stuff like that. You know? It's just not right, I tell you. Yeah, we have a copy of a few of the sniffles. I can only play a bit of it because Scissorfied had his entire count knocked off. And I just love this little clip that he put together. He spent hours working on clips of Donald Trump sniffling. That's all I'm allowed to play. Or, believe it or not, Vice tries to own that clip. They're claiming it's their clip now. I'm serious. CGI Super Typhoon coming. Really? Are they making believe these typhoons are happening?
7 o'clock in the morning, 9:26. I came across this off of CNN, and it doesn't really matter which mainstream media source, but you have right here where my cursor's going around. The images show typhoon as it heads for Japan. And the globe is so massive in this picture, or at least we're supposed to believe that this typhoon heading for Japan is literally 25% of the upper globe through or from the ISS, which brings me back to this image here. This is a video I made a week ago of Florence and the transposed Florence hurricane over the globe shows the absolute massive, gigantic. If we're to believe that this globe image taken from NASA is real, and then this one from the ISS is real, well, I mean, it speaks for itself how CGI fabricated garbage lies it is. So as we go back here, I'm going to click on this, and the problem is that we're not going to be able to stare at it for too long because they want to go into their story. So I'll click on it right now, and it'll come up. Now, check it out. Look at the size of this one. And look at how everything's bent from the IS or from the fisheye lens.
Yeah.
So as it goes into the story, and my point is that the CGI that they offer you to get you to stare at something doesn't ever match the story that they're going to tell you.
Yeah, that's why Never Lose Truth had so many questions about the authenticity. She had live feed camera footage of CCTV footage of the Florence hurricane as it was coming into the East Coast. And it was like hardly even touching the East Coast. There was hardly any wind. And in the media, we saw all these fake pictures of men barreling into the wind. It was a wind machine. And the people behind them were walking around casually with just a little breeze. So they've got this plan to somehow make us think that climate change is happening. So they're using the full force of the media to push these agendas. Now, we do know that there's a lot of damage from Hurricane Florence, but it was a Category 1, not a Category 4. Had it been a Category 4, the nuclear reactor there would have been, completely disrupted. And why do we have a nuclear reactor on the eastern seaboard? We got a couple of them in New Jersey and Maryland. I don't understand. Yeah. So we've got the video of the Australia's first satanic charity event for getting money in blood, and CGI Super Typhoon coming up in the evening. All right. Bye. Thanks for abandoning us. What happened? You sick son of a bitch. Trump talks over female reporters to defend Kavanaugh at insane press conference. Oh, that should be fun. How can you not want to see that? Trump interrupts. Talks over female reporters to defend Kavanaugh at insane press conference. Let's take a look. CBS not laws. Evening else.
Those impact your opinions on the allegations against...
Well, it does impact my opinion. You know why? Because I've had a lot of false charges made against me. I'm a very famous person, unfortunately. I've been a famous person for a long time. But I've had a lot of false charges made against me, really false charges. I know friends that have had false charges. People want fame, they want money, they want whatever. So when I see it, I view it differently than somebody sitting home watching television where they say, oh, Judge Kavanaugh, this or that. It's happened to me many times. I've had many false charges. I had a woman sitting in an airplane and I attacked her while people were coming onto the plane, and I have a #1 bestseller out. I mean, it was a total phony story. There are many of them. So when you say, does it affect me in terms of my thinking with respect to Judge Kavanaugh? Absolutely, because I've had it many times. And if the news would...
You notice he's got that same sniffling thing going on again? You think he's got a cold like he had before during the election? Yeah, what's that sniffling all about, you know? Yeah.
Would have reported these 4 people. I couldn't believe it. When I heard that they caught these 4 people, I said, wow, that's a big story. And it was for fun.
I was left hanging there. What was that all about? For false charges. Okay. It's Coke, really? Yeah, if only we had the dead lady. Yeah. Princess Leia. Carrie Fisher. Yeah, if only Princess Leia could be here. And why did she die on board the plane with no video cameras? How come we don't put $15 video cameras on board planes? Yeah, she seemed like they got rid of her after she said that Trump was on cocaine. Now, I've never said that. But what are these sniffling things? Do you think he's got that same cold he had during the few weeks leading up to the election? I don't know. He said it was a cold after somebody finally did get to him and say, why are you sniffling so much? Hitler took amphetamines, little known fact. Wow. So you're saying that Trump is Hitler? That's a pretty outlandish thing to say. Yeah, well, there is a strong reason to believe that he might be. Not Hitler per se, but he did read Hitler's speeches right before he went to bed. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah. Hey, but we really have to focus here. Donald Trump works for Vladimir Putin, okay? And many of you Americans who do think you're still American, you may want to rethink that and see yourself as Russians and then Americans. Now that you let him, Vladimir Putin, control the election. Okay. I think we're almost there. Thinking I might try the wig thing. It's Wig Wednesday, Later tonight, I think I might try the wig thing. It's been a while. Thank you. They're still pushing this Las Vegas garbage. Oh, really? You mean about all the dead 58 people that died that no one even knows? Oh, so sorry. Yeah, Stephen Paddock's wife, they found was applied for a job A resume said that she actually worked for the FBI. That was suspicious. The lack of any evidence of a broken window in the footage that the Clark County Police and the coroner have presented. Nothing.
By a horrific event.
By a fake event. Yeah, they're still pushing this stupid Las Vegas hoax.
All right, we got that lined up for tonight. That's kind of cool. We don't hesitate to talk about the possibility that there is, in fact, a false flag agenda that the government's been involved in, and we finally figured out what it was. In case you people weren't in the show, they're allowed to use the media to lie to us. It's completely legal now. It under National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, Barack Obama signed into law the ability to suspend the Smith-Mundt Act, which outlawed propaganda. Now they're allowed to virtually tell us what they want us to know about any event, to think that we need to get rid of our guns. That's part of their agenda. So this is absolutely what's happening. That's why I was alluding to the Strong Cities Network, the Resilient Cities Network, the UN put together. That's part of it. So false flags can be very easily manufactured. They even have crisis events going on all over the country that can go live at any time. And they just have to make a few phone calls to a couple reporters, and voila, the American people believe something's happening, and they don't want to ask for any proof. And when they do ask for proof, they get arrested. Like that poor guy who's serving jail time for a weapons charge. They went after him because he simply said, show me proof of the Sutherland church shooting, and he'll pay him $100,000. And he didn't get anybody taking that opportunity. The Sutherland church shooting, not one person wanted his money, but the police wanted him, and they arrested him. I'm not manic. No. No, what makes you think I'm manic? I'm a pretty calm and collected person. Yeah. I think some of you are confusing passion for manic. Wow. That's sad. Now that's just sad, see? Well, I'm a little concerned about his sniffling, that's for sure. We read the lineup of information about Kavanaugh's history as a roommate talking about his history, their debauched dorm room at Yale. We have yet to confirm that Kavanaugh is Chapter 322 of the Skull and Bones. We're still researching that. But he had all kinds of things going on that were really bad. Winter found a dead pigeon nailed to his door, not on the front door of the suite, but on his bedroom door. It wasn't rotten or anything. I assumed that someone found a dead bird in the ground. He says, I interpreted it as the act of social hostility / terrorism. I thought it was a very clear message. We don't like you and we don't want you here. This guy Winter has come forth talking about Brett Kavanaugh's dorm room. It was just a pigsty. Vomit all over the bathroom, never cleaned up. No, I'm the guy who started talking about the fake news. That was Trump stealing my idea. And he called it fake news because CNN coined the Pizzagate story fake news. Trump ran with that wording, but I've always talked about the lies of the two-party system and of the mainstream media. I've been saying that for 8-9 years. So okay, there was a lien. The third accuser had a $63,000 lien against her from the state of Maryland, and it's paid in full. Okay, so somebody is obviously paying these people money. That needs to be discussed at the Grand Inquisition tomorrow. They're going to have a prosecuting attorney deal with this subject, and many people are saying this is not appropriate. What's happening is a woman is going to be exposing her most intimate secrets, and a prosecuting attorney is going to be grilling her. And even experts, sexual assault experts, says it makes no sense for a prosecutor to question Christine Blasey Ford. Rachel Mitchell, prosecutor experienced in sex crimes cases, to question Kavanaugh and Ford, according to Grassley. But yeah, many people are wondering, is this possible?
But according to the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, the Democratic roadblock won't work. He says he's very confident Judge Kavanaugh will be confirmed. Montana Senator Republican Steve Daines joins me now. Welcome to the show, Senator.
Thanks. Good to be here.
So how do you feel about this so far? What does your gut tell you about Thursday's dual testimony?
Let me tell you something, set the stage here. I was in the East Wing of the White House on July 9th. That was the evening when President Trump revealed his nomination for the United States Supreme Court with Judge Kavanaugh and his wonderful family.
Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. So you guys, Zetterbeard's digging into it. Okay. Well, you know, everybody needs a fair day in court, but this isn't court. This is determining a man's position in our country's most sacred and hallowed institution. An institution that's been corrupted by countless bad votes and bad appointments. I mean, Elena Kagan wasn't even a judge before she became a judge. It looked like payback for keeping all those birth certificate issues from getting to the Supreme Court. Sonia Sotomayor, she was an open, vocal La Raza member, an Aslan member, who is vocally in favor of Hispanics taking over all of the West Coast. I mean, none of these cases should have ever moved forward. I think we need to impeach most of the Supreme Court and start over again. It's a disaster. We're dealing with perennial jobs. Congress has to vote into a new system. We have to get a congressional Congress going. We have to get a new group of people. We have to impeach these people. Every one of them seems like they're corrupt. Look at the case where Walmart women were completely segregated and weren't held back, and they had a class action suit against Walmart, and the Supreme Court ruled that in no way can you have a class action suit against Walmart. Every woman has to sue Walmart individually. Oh yeah, like they have the money to hire an attorney, work in minimum wage at Walmart to challenge Walmart on their hiring practices. That was the most rigged vote I have ever seen in the history of the Supreme Court. Now, there was a time in our history where the Supreme Court ruled in favor of people. Believe it or not, in the 1930s, the Supreme Court ruled that to tax is to destroy, which means that they are literally destroying us with their income tax in America. And the Supreme Court ruled that in a case of agriculture, farmers suing Uncle Sam. And they said that you can't tax and destroy people. So our Supreme Court now is more likely to vote for corporations like Citizens United than helping people get a worker at Walmart get their rights upheld. It's crazy. So everything about the Supreme Court, in my opinion, is corrupt. Justice Roberts, at this point, a total epileptic, complete epileptic, can't even function without heavy medication. He's in charge of this whole disastrous circus of a Supreme Court. You got Justice, we said earlier, Clarence Thomas has never written a single brief, never been asked for an opinion. I mean, come on. The token black guy on the Supreme Court who can't even write? Give me a break. There got to be some eloquent black men in the world who would fill that post with a vigor. Not some guy who just sits there and fills a chair and talks about pubic hair and how he's called Long Dong Silver. This is crazy. We're stacking a Supreme Court that's going to take away women's rights because it's convenient for the right to do that. Well, let's be clear. If you want to read about the Kavanaugh story about how his dorm room was a pigsty, there is the link. Feel free. Whew, damn. I know. It's too much, man. There is a way to end the charter of the Federal Reserve. We have to buy them out. Guest 3406, Dave, is there truly a way to get rid of the Federal Reserve? We have to buy them out. Plus, we need a separate banking system running parallel to the Fed if we're going to do that. I'm suggesting an infrastructure bank system that funds U.S. loans to U.S. businesses, hiring U.S. citizens at a good living wage of $15 an hour. Let's take a look here.
Sir? Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, coal ash coming out of the back of this KLM full wing coal ash mix, toxic chemical aerosol. Look at this. Unreal. I'm going to put this in chemtrails and tonight's video.
All right, so we got KLM.
This guy, Mike Decker, I think he's out in Wyoming. He sees all of these dumps of coal ash on top of your head. I saw 2 or 3 chemtrails today over my skies where I live. Yeah, so we're still checking on Kavanaugh and Chapter 322. Let's see, Brett Kavanaugh. Chapter 322. Let's see if anything pops up. Nope. No, nothing. Yale. Skull and bones. Let's go deep. Okay, BuzzFeed has the story. I'll just briefly touch on it here. Yale secret society Brett Kavanaugh joined was mostly about drinking, Yale alumni say. No skull and bones. So there's no Chapter 322 of the Skull and Bones connection to Brett Kavanaugh, according to BuzzFeed. And they do a pretty good job of vetting information. Try this. Let's take a look. Oh, really?
Hey, what's up, guys? His name is Government. Yes, Donald Trump is finally admit that he is part of the, wait for it, the swamp. Remember Donald Trump said that he's going to drain the swamp? He's going to get rid of these people in...
Good, that's a good link. Thank you. We'll play that tonight. If he has a connection, we'll find out. So you believe that there's a federal law from 1878 that can do it? Okay, Earth Sky, well, I'm curious if there is a law that we could end the Federal Reserve using that law, because the Federal Reserve Act of, actually 1913 postdated that, but if there's a law that preceded it, we could definitely consider that. Thank you. More you know, the more we know. If you find any information, please email it to me at americasthirdparty@gmail.com, because I would like to know more about that. The Act of 1871 established the United States government as a corporation. The United States itself became the corporation, declared the Act of 1871. By 1913, they'd constructed a plan to borrow from that said corporation, while they bankrupted, in the process of bankrupting the U.S. government called the United States of America. So there's 2 legal entities. There's the United States Corporation and the United States of America. And they don't want you to know that we've been living under corporate headings for a long, long time, since March 9th, 1933, when they bankrupted the United States of America. So we are technically bankrupt as a nation. They've been running a de facto government out of Washington, D.C. as a corporation. That's why we have departments, Department of Interior, Department. None of that's in the Constitution. But yet we're believing as a people that we are represented by the Constitution, and in fact we are. But we're represented by a bankrupt corporation called the United States of America. So we have to get our country back and take it away from these scumbags who incorporated the United States, and tell them to take their debt and stick it and get our money back from the Federal Reserve, because the World Bank is holding it in abeyance. We're borrowing against it to finance this nightmare of an economy. Now you're wondering, are your tax dollars going to pay off the work that you see done in America on the streets around you? Well, in some cases, your state taxes are going toward road work, but your federal taxes are going toward the interest on the debt. Our country is literally running in arrears every single quarter. Trump is already $500 billion in arrears for the past 6 months. So it's completely unhinged. We're living on borrowed money and, ironically, borrowed time. But we don't know it yet. They know it. But we, the American people, haven't been told that. They're just going to crash it. That's their goal. And that's wrong. We could get an austerity plan going here and prevent any major crash in this country. But these people don't have any plan to do that. They want to keep their profit margins going. They want to keep siphoning off of whatever's left of America. And Donald Trump is their kingpin. He even called himself the king of debt. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. And the Republicans are going, oh yeah, we need this guy. He's really good at getting credit. Well, many of those people are living on debt themselves. They borrowed $60,000 for their truck so they could drive their diesel dually down the street and have the coolest truck on the block. A lot of people are living on borrowed money. It's amazing how many people are on borrowed money. Well, the one thing that the Guest 3406 says, can the Rothschilds be stopped in their own one world system they want, Dave? I believe that history stands in favor of what we're doing, 34006 at iBlog. Yeah, I believe that history stands in our favor. No one's ever been able to take over the world, and these people are attempting to do that. I'm buffering over at iBlog. I show no drop frames on my end. Well, hang on. No. No, I'm not having a problem over there. I dropped off of iVlog completely. Yeah. Okay. I'm up now. Refresh. Okay. What I was just saying earlier, iVlog terminated again. Wow. We're having problems at iVlog. We're being knocked off iVlog. You're not an ape, no. Unfortunately, you're not, no. Sorry. Yeah, we're a different species than the ape. We're closer, more akin to the chimpanzee. You may be thinking you're an ape, but I'm not an ape. Yeah, we're having total knockoff on iBlock. Let's see if we're... I'll try it again. Okay, we might be working now. Try now. Okay, it's back. Thank you. iBlog is a dedicated platform which is offering us no censorship. And they understand they're converting to HTML5 soon. Their goal is to get a more state-of-the-art, non-Flash driven website developed. I think once they're there, they're going to start growing again. But iBlog has a certain limit on how many people really, can be attracted here. They tend to watch the transgenders talk on their talk show. If I had a woman's hairdresser on, if I would had makeup on or something, I'd probably get about 100 views at iBlog. I'm not a cross-dresser. I'm not a transsexual or anything like that. But if I were, I'd get a lot of views there. Yeah, one good way to care. So we are definitely in the middle of a constant reality check about the president and his bad behavior.
Is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I went to the best colleges, or college. I went to Wharton. I had a situation where I was a very excellent student. I'm a person that very strongly believes in academics.
It sounded edited. Yeah, it was actually slowed down a little bit. Well, we don't have to pay off the $21 trillion in debt. Thank you. Yeah, we won't ever have to pay it back. But we do need to build that infrastructure bank with the money that we have in our trust at the World Bank. So when I become president, I'm going to urge Congress to work on a plan to build this infrastructure bank. I will build something similar at the executive branch, but we will have something that we'll be able to ride with and run parallel to the Fed while we pay off the Fed. And in that process, we should get about $40 trillion is being held for us, according to best estimates. 40 trillion. Hey, we haven't heard from Karen Hudis lately. I wonder how she's doing. But we have money that from the victory in Germany and Japan that was put in the World Bank in trust for us, and we've been borrowing against it. We can more than pay back the 21 trillion to our debtor nations, and then we could move on with total sovereignty and total solidarity. We'll have $20 trillion to put in our bank account to draw from, interest-wise. It's going to be a huge amount of money. I mean, we'll definitely have $2 trillion a year just from that alone, we wouldn't even need your taxes at that point. Yes, true. Yeah. Okay, use aloe vera and vitamin enrichment. Add water. You're talking about Alka-Seltzer? I don't trust that anywhere near a woman's fine. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing that. Alka-Seltzer? No. Why don't you just go buy a Messengill vinegar douche, dude? And why are you douching, dude? Question came up. Global debt facility. Here she is, Karen Hudas. She's got 21,000 subscribers now. That's really good. This is her site, and this is her most recent video. Good for her. Thank you, Scissor Fight.
Good evening. I'm your host, Karen Judas. Welcome to the series on the network of global corporate control. Today,
she's looking quite sultry there in her new look. Yeah, she's a strong worker. This woman. She was a former World Bank attorney who found a illegal use of money and funds at the World Bank, and literally went on her own solo and has been exposing it ever since at her cost. I will check to see if slow mode is off. Slow mode is off. I'll go on and then off. Mark is heavily, censoring 350 million VPNs, he said. So that could be the reason why we're having problems. Yeah, 350 million VPNs add up. Did you know that Hitler was an altar boy? Like Kavanaugh? I didn't know that. I missed that information. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, we found out a new bit of information. Trivia. Hitler was an altar boy, just like Kavanaugh. Makes sense. So if we process information without any evidence, we are probably looking at false flag alerts for all of us to know. He makes a lot of money. He makes big bucks. He makes money doing it. That's why. He wouldn't do that otherwise. Somebody told him that this is the best way to make money is to do that, I guess. I'm assuming. So you're in the midst of our live show. We're playing a daily show due to the fact that we can't stop and we won't stop. But we do it with a smile.
Yeah. Said it all with a smile. The way you offer. Could have been talking Kierkegaard, Galileo's daughter, man on Mars, but I never even heard a word. Oh, I'll not soon forget. You want to be where you came in.
Yeah, I like to play those songs just to, see if you're listening, because many people are. That song makes no sense at all. I pieced together all kinds of nonsensical statements from some software, and I made no sense out of that. Isn't that great? Total gibberish. All I can tell you is Miss Scruppy said that they live in a very humble home, and she left their location, their address in the chat room. And I thought, well, who would put their address in the chat room? That was odd to me. I don't think I really have any idea about jealousy. I know it's a hidden emotion many people have that I don't seem to possess. I was born without any of the vices that you people seem to have. I'm not materialistic. I'm not jealous. I'm not a glutton. I don't have I'm not too prideful. I try to minimize my pride, because pride could be, hubris can be a deadly sin. So I'm pretty much, completely immune to the mentality of our luxury-driven consumer society. And I think I did that purposely as I evolved, because I didn't want to be controlled by these people. Yeah, I swore to myself that I wouldn't be a corporate pig. I wouldn't work for a government unless it was in the capacity of guiding government. I didn't get sold out like all the other people. And I think many people are kind of, stuck in that mode of being a sellout. I know many people in the newscasting business seem like complete sellouts. Charlie Rose, who got kicked out for doing the Me Too thing with women, but other people like Tom Brokaw, I was with Tom Brokaw. That guy's got allegations of sex play with his workers. They must use that to control these people. They must hook him up with like a 17-year-old at a party and go, "Oh, we're videotaping you." Seriously. Believe me, Mike Pence's sex life, Stormy, is high on our list. That's why Mike Pence has not presented any of his emails when he had them on a private server. And that's a violation. It's a Class C felony Mike Pence is currently engaged in. He's been asked by the Public Disclosure Committee to present his emails, and he refuses to present them. So I have a feeling Mike Pence is covering up something pretty sick. Something to play tonight. Great. Thank you. Are you a sleeping debt slave? Straw man versus free man on the land. Cool. Hey, getting financially free is something we talk about on Wasteful Wednesdays. There's more waste going on in your life with the interest you're paying on your credit cards or your loans. And I recently heard somebody tell me that they had a windfall profit on a house of $150,000. Thank you, Cheese Boy. Somebody I know made $150,000 on a good investment that they did right out of college when they got a good job, and then they lost their good job. But their house doubled in value. Believe it or not, they made $150,000. So I really believe that's a very, very sizable amount of money to start out with. And they told me that they were going to take and buy a house for $150,000 and then take a home equity loan against it to invest in other properties. And I'm going, what? No. If you've got $150,000, really you only have about $100,000 to buy a house with, at the most, because you really don't want to do the home equity loan, especially for the full value of your house. Because you'll lose your house and the money and the properties that you plan on buying. So don't ever stretch yourself thin when it comes to buying a house. Well, that's the opposite of what Trump would say, because Trump is the king of debt, as he said himself. He would say take out as many loans as you can possibly take until he gets, bigger money. And that's exactly what Trump did. He borrowed and borrowed and borrowed until he could find somebody that would loan him some money. Russia was offering. And in 2008, he took a big loan. And even had a $100 million line of credit with Russia, even up to last year. Or in 2016, I should say. So we'll play that tonight. Thank you. Are you a sleeping debt slave? Yeah. But getting out of debt is the most important thing. Losing so much money is wasted on the interest on debts. I'm telling you, the dream of life isn't to go into debt with a 30-year mortgage. It really isn't. You'll be working your whole life and never get out of that situation until the last days of your life. And you'll wonder why you did it. Trump didn't do well. Trump is still in debt to $1 billion on a loan with Deutsche Bank. They own a note on him. There's nothing good about borrowing money, I'm telling you. it leads to nothing but bad things. And look at Trump. He's a classic example of what's really happening now. A man who virtually has to sell his role in the White House to others in order to keep money coming in, and profiting all the while on the side with his business, which is totally illegal. It's not right. It's not cool. So some people are just wondering what they're going to do in life.
Do you ever wonder, like, what is going on? I mean, like, do you ever, like, wake up or do something and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
I've never woken up and did anything. But here we got something going on here. Michelle Obama, let's play the whole video for you.
We will see the first, and do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we're going to take a closer look at what appears to be a swinging penis. Yes. Right here is the biggest, it's a money shot right here. See it? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and run that on a loop. Yeah. Let's bring in the drone. Okay, the drone is going to take a large photograph of it. We're videotaping this entire operation. Okay, we've got a captured photograph of the actual swinging penis. You know, I really hate playing this video. I really do. And people have wondered, why are you doing this? Well, because Hillary is getting old and Michelle is probably going to be talked into running. And if we don't get to the bottom of what's happening here, I'm afraid we're going to be dealing with a transgender posing as a woman, which is the worst case scenario. You'd rather have Russia control the country instead of Michelle Obama as president? Okay. Michelle Obama. Hey, you want to just play this in the background as kind of like a daily thing? We'll just play the dangling penis in the background. Oh, no, not Sarah. You would never want that. No. I just can't believe that this woman is thinking of running and she's really a dude. That's the hard part about the whole thing. It's like it's a slam on women. If he is a he-she, he should admit that. He should just say, hey, yeah. And we should vote for a he-she. Because if some people like Michelle, I don't know. It was difficult to tuck that day, so Michael had to, improvise. What?
Do you want a break?
Yeah, you seem a little tired, but let me just take a little break for a bite to eat, and Sarah's ready for bed. You can tell. Okay, she's gonna come in, even though she's really tired. Thank you, Sarah. Just for a little bit. I'll be back.
Okay, thank you. She becomes president, pulls off her mask, and it's Obama. That's funny. Trump is giving a helping hand in the Florence hurricane in South Carolina. So this is a fake story? Wait. Trump supporters are sharing a fake photo of him personally rescuing hurricane survivors. And you can totally tell it's fake. I don't even want to show it because it probably would make people think it's real. That's so funny. I know, I always dislike when I walk in and David's discussing things that I would rather not talk about. It's always bizarre. Okay. It is funny, Eric. You're the only one, 215, and usually what I do is say, you need to go sit and think about what you've done wrong. Make smart choices, and when you're ready to make a smart choice, you can return to the room. That's what I say. Go stand out if you're talking while I'm talking. No, I'm just kidding. All right. We're going to do a little more trivia where we're still working on life science and we're still on the letter D now. We're on the letter D. What are trees and shrubs that, unlike evergreens, lose their leaves and become dormant during the winter? The real reason that they lose their leaves is because there's less sunlight for them to engage in photosynthesis. Correct, hand beast? Okay, I understand what you're trying to say, Tommy. Yes, it is deciduous. Wow, Ghost. Okay. Via Alaska, I take it? I want to start with some kind of highway that connects Alaska to the mainland. Via Canada, I suppose. All right, what is the process of destroying a forest and replacing it with something else? The term is used today to refer to the destruction of forests by human beings and their replacement by agricultural systems. It is considered to be a main contributor to the greenhouse effect. Correct, hand beast? That's true, Dogbone, and I live near a place where the forest stays green during the winter months. Mainly because we have evergreens. We don't have we have some deciduous trees. All right, so that is deforestation. Oh. All right, what is the study of the processes by which an organism develops from zygote to its full structure? This field includes the study of cellular differentiation as well as body structure development. Yes, true. Rainforests in Brazil do stay green during winter months. I don't think they consider those deciduous plants either, because they don't lose it during winter or cold months. Okay, that was the answer to that clue was developmental biology. All right, developmental biology. Yeah, I used to think I would love to visit Brazil's rainforest. I did this whole research project on the Yanomami Indians, natives that live down there. Natives, yes, Yanomami, native indigenous people. Anyway, but I've decided I don't want to visit Brazil's rainforest. I'll leave that up to you. Have you ever, if you want to visit Brazil's rainforest, there's a really great movie. I think I like it. It's a animated film. It's called Fern Gully. Cute movie. I highly suggest that. All right. Moving on. What reptiles are now extinct that were the dominant form of life on Earth for millions of years? The name comes from the Greek words for monstrous lizard. They became extinct suddenly about 65 million years ago. Scientists now believe that their extinction was caused by the impact of a large asteroid on the Earth. Some of these were very large and had small brains. factors that may in part have led to their extinction. The term is often used to refer to something or someone that is antiquated and unable to adapt to change. Though cavalry generals couldn't adjust to the use of tanks, they became these. Correct, Ham Beast? Correct, Rancid? They are dinosaurs. Rancid thinks that dinosaurs are fake, just like round Earth is fake. Commonly known dinosaurs include Tyrannosaurus rex, Brontosaurus, Stegosaurus, and Triceratops. Some scientists believe that modern birds are the descendants of dinosaurs. Modern birds. Can you imagine dinosaurs flying around? Oh, that would be scary. What is a group of pollutants created as byproducts in many industrial processes? These accumulate in human tissue and affect human metabolism. They are carcinogens. Eliminating these is an important goal of environmental policy. Yes, Tommy. They're dioxins. Dioxin. What is a molecule that carries genetic information in all living systems? It's formed in the shape of a double helix from a great number of smaller molecules. The workings of this provide the most fundamental explanation of the laws of genetics. It acts in three important ways. First, when a cell divides, it uncoils, and each strand creates a new partner from the surrounding material. This process is called replication. Two cells that result from the cell division have the same amount of this as the original. Yes, you're right. It is DNA. All right, second important way that DNA acts in sexual reproduction, each parent contributes one of the two strands in the DNA of the offspring. And the third important way that DNA acts is inside the cell. The DNA covers the production of proteins and other molecules that are essential to the cell function. Nucleotide bases of DNA are adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. A, G, C, T. The movie Gattaca only has the word Gattaca only has G-A-T-C in it. I'm happy my DNA has stood the test of time. Ooh. Oh. What is the chemical reactions that take place? Oh, wait. The chemical reactions that place a methyl group, a combination of one carbon atom and three hydrogen atoms, at a particular spot on DNA during organismal development. The effect of this process is probably to turn off various genes during the process of cellular differentiation, causing the cell to develop into a specific type. It is thought that during cloning, these groups are removed from the DNA, turning the genes back on again. There is evidence that embryonic stem cells are cells in which this process has not yet occurred. As long as you're using embryonic stem cells, Eric, I guess. It is DNA methylation. Okay, this one is pretty interesting. What is an enzyme that reassembles new DNA by copying an existing strand? Now, what's pretty interesting about this is that at the end of DNA, whenever it's copied, there's a little thing that it's like a little chip that it shortens the strand every time it's copied. And they say if they could put in one thing, then it would actually stay the same length, and then if it stayed the same length, then you wouldn't have the aging process. So anyway, that was DNA polymerase, and the thing that they're thinking that if they give people telomerase, then their DNA might not be shrinking every time the ends are cut off. Yeah, every time it replicates. Telomeres are the ends cut off. Yep. And if they give you telomerase, the ends of your DNA might not be cut off when you have cell replication. I don't know. Maybe it is life science. But we'll just leave it. You guys are bored with us, so we're going to go on to the news. Oh, that's funny. It's like a picture of myself. That's weird. Eric asks, has anyone seen the new Predator movie? A major plot twist has to do with DNA mixing. Ooh, no, I haven't. I don't know. Does Sacha Baron Cohen watch, David? Come out now if you're Sacha Baron Cohen. I'll go back to the top. Headlines, just headlines in general. Trump is defending his own past as Kavanaugh faces allegations. Ooh, what is that? Like, Trump's done some bad things? Oh, so get this. Trump's answer to the allegations that...
President, there are now 3 women accusing Judge Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. Are you saying that all 3 of those women are liars? Is there anything that could be said at this hearing tomorrow that could cause you to withdraw the nomination? Anything at all that...
I won't get into that game. I only tell you this. This is one of the highest quality people that I've ever met. And everybody that knows him says the same thing. And these are all false to me. These are false accusations in certain cases, and certain cases even...
So he's saying that he's been accused of certain things in the past. So it's just crazy. So crazy. I don't know what to say. I know I shouldn't devolve to name calling. Two wrongs don't make a right, Mr. Trump. 2 wrongs do not make a right. So new allegations against Kavanaugh have been submitted to the Senate committee. A new accuser, Julie Swetnick, details parties where girls were allegedly drugged and raped. Wow. I don't know, David, tomorrow is Thursday. David might cast during the hearings. I don't know. Republicans still don't want to protect Mueller. Oh. Yeah, I agree with you, Daily Beast. Revisiting what happened to Anita Hill. I do understand that behavior, but if there weren't allegations, then they would have nothing to smear him with. Trump claims he rejected a meeting with Trudeau about NAFTA. Canada said, "We never asked to meet with you. So why are you saying you rejected a meeting? We never even put that on the table." Wow. So Tropical Storm Kirk is approaching the Lesser Antilles. It's strengthening in the Atlantic. There's tropical storm watches and warnings issued for Windward 1. Oh, the millennials are behind America's shrinking divorce rates. That's probably because they're not getting married in the first place? I don't know. Oh my God. Thank goodness. Oh, that's a horrible thing I just read. A father was accused of supergluing his daughter's eyes and mouth shut. Thank goodness he's been arrested. And a driver has been charged with the murder of an 89-year-old woman. Wow. Yes, that's true, Tommy. There have been many allegations. Or some, I guess. That's what, but I guess it's up to everyone to listen to allegations and decide for themselves what they believe is true.
Thanks.
Good. There's a fishing boat killing and a captain called for help. A man has been arrested in Virginia, accused of multiple murders, and is a DACA recipient, one of those people that received benefits from the DREAM Act. I haven't talked too much about the UN Trump laughter event. You watched the video and you think it's being reported wrong? Okay. You have a link to the video. I suppose I could show it, but I don't really care to.
Okay, thank you. You're off and running. Get comfy.
3 tornadoes touched down in Detroit.
Oh wow!
On Tuesday night.
That's
3
really
tornadoes.
weird.
Wow.
Detroit, jeez, tornadoes. Wow, that's weird. I heard there's another storm brewing off the coast of the Atlantic too.
Yes, I did read that.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Awesome. Fantastic. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. All right. That was fun. I hope Sarah was enjoyable. She's very calm and even-spirited. We need to start casting during the day for the full day victim interrogation cast. I don't really want to do that, no. No, I mean, I think we're digesting 4 or 5 bits of information over and over again. It's kind of like, an orgy with old spent restaurant oil, as opposed to really fresh Wesson oil. Not that I would know what that felt like, because I've never been to an orgy, nor do I want to have oil on my body. But everything's kind of sounding creepy, that's what I mean. I mean, even talking about the Clarence Thomas discussion of his Long Dong Silver annotation and the pubic hair, it's becoming almost it's an endless circle of nonsense, really. We're not solving any problems. We're not getting to the root causes of the corruption in our country. We need to investigate the avenues of corruption. Sex allegations, the Me Too generation, I think need to be pushed forward. But this discussion of Kavanaugh is like, who wants to talk about some guy who got his rocks off of holding down women and raping them, allegedly? I mean, it's just disgusting. Let's find out about the victims and get them out there and get the story out front forward about Harvey Weinstein. I mean, there's 70 alleged rapes going on here. 70 alleged rapes, and only 3 women have come forward. That's got to be some weird coincidence. Yes, were you in the Clarence Thomas hearings? Were very weird, very boring. Yeah, almost as bad as Watergate. Watergate, we didn't really find out anything, and then Nixon resigned, and they named a few people, but only a few in the Watergate incident. That we're not getting anywhere with Mueller. I understand he's communicating with Giuliani. They're having like a discussion all the time about whether Trump is going to be charged with obstruction or not. Well, right. Here's a statement that Rosenstein's job might be on the line, but Republicans still don't want to protect the Mueller investigation. No, they don't like Mueller. Republicans want to obstruct justice, and even though the Russians have contaminated our election, the Republicans want to stand there and allow that to happen with no punishment. But yeah, do they like this guy? He's a Republican? No, they don't. They don't want anything bad to happen to their power. The Republicans want to cling to power. Yeah, like flies to doo-doo. Welcome. I can't do the hearing tomorrow. No. We start our cooking show at 5. I'll comment on it at 5 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. There's no earth-shaking news. I mean, Donald Trump's probably going to fire Rosenstein. And Mueller will be fired. Then the whole case will go into an impeachment hearing in the new House when the Democrats are voted in to take over. If they don't get voted in and some other Republicans win in the 2018 midterms, then we continue on with this charade of a president. The beat goes on. Welcome to Wacky Wednesday. Yeah, so Mueller hasn't done enough, in my opinion. He should have gone after the tax returns that Donald Trump had over the past 10 years. That's a reality. No internet. Sexual misconduct allegations hang over Kavanaugh's head. 2 female senators may decide his fate. So Collins is piping in.
Kavanaugh, President Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court, has ignited the deepest passions in American politics. For conservative activists, Kavanaugh represents the achievement of a decades-long quest, the 5th vote for a Supreme Court majority to push the legal system toward the right. One top goal? Reversing Roe v. Wade, the 1973 decision declaring abortion a woman's constitutional right. For feminists, that's alarming enough. But now Kavanaugh has turned into an equally urgent test of America's rising Me Too movement. Following months of sexual harassment allegations toppling powerful men, 3 women have now accused Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct during high school and college. Kavanaugh denies all the allegations, calling them smears. As he told Fox News,
I'm not going to let false accusations drive us out of this process.
It echoes the spectacle a generation ago when Clarence Thomas, during his Supreme Court confirmation hearings, faced sexual harassment allegations from his workplace subordinate, Anita Hill.
On several occasions, Thomas told me graphically of his own sexual prowess.
I would like to start by saying unequivocally, uncategorically, that I deny each and every single allegation against me today.
Thomas was narrowly confirmed and still serves on the court. Now the reaction of senators in a different political environment will determine whether Kavanaugh can win confirmation to succeed his former boss, retired Justice Anthony Kennedy. It's a lifetime appointment. The backdrop is midterm elections, soon to decide whether Democrats or Republicans control the next Congress. For that battle, the president's party has no good options. Already, Trump's behavior and policies have triggered a backlash from female voters. Disregarding the women's allegations and putting Kavanaugh on the court could make that wave bigger, but defeating him poses an opposite risk, deflating the strong Trump supporters without whom Republican candidates cannot win. Huge consequences for any Republican who backs away, warns Matt Schlapp, who chairs the American Conservative Union. That's the vortex swirling around the 5 people best positioned to decide Kavanaugh's fate. President Trump, who could withdraw the nomination if he considers Kavanaugh a political liability.
He's an outstanding person.
Judge Kavanaugh himself, who could step aside if the fight becomes too painful or pointless. And 3 Republican senators most susceptible to defecting from their party: Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Jeff Flake of Arizona. Of the 3, Flake faces the least pressure. He's retiring. Murkowski seems uncomfortable that GOP leaders want to vote without the FBI investigation Democrats have requested.
It would sure clear up all the questions, wouldn't it?
Collins sounds leaning in Kavanaugh's favor, but wants more information. She told Showtime this.
Are you still undecided?
I am. How could I decide before hearing the testimony of Professor Ford? I'm close. I'm very close, but I'm not all the way there.
That was comprehensive. It really, gave us all the nitty-gritty. Thank you.
Brett Kavanaugh, President Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court.
Let's hear it again. What do you say?
And it's worth repeating here, the devil is in the detail in the math here on Capitol Hill. Kavanaugh can't afford to lose more than 1 Republican senator if all Democrats vote against the nomination.
Okay. Jeff Flake, I really like him. He's got a lot going, but this woman right here is pushing the tilt against Brett Kavanaugh. Her testimony is perhaps the most damning. They're shocking.
They are shocking, but above all else, they are true. And my client stands behind them 100%.
The allegations from Julie Swetnick, who alleged in a signed affidavit she attended well over 10 parties where she saw Judge Brett Kavanaugh, then in high school, drink excessively at many of these parties and engage in abusive and physically aggressive behavior towards girls. Swetnick also claiming Kavanaugh and others would spike the punch to cause girls to become inebriated and disoriented, so they could then be gang raped in a side room or bedroom. Later adding, I became the victim of one of these gang or train rapes where Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh were present. Swetnick does not say they assaulted her or the other girls.
Now, she is clearly the third woman now, Swetnick, to come forth with this fake, oh, you're calling it fake news? So you think these women are hired? They're like Fiverr girls? So for $5, you'll say you had relations with Brett Kavanaugh back in 1983? Oh, okay, sure. Maybe they're Russian Fiverr girls that are doing this. I will do this for $5. No, these are legitimate women. Don't even think to discredit them. In fact, Ramirez is on record with multiple people saying she's very honest. And she was forced to suck his beep, 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 beep. Well, she doesn't look old. What, are you kidding me? She's cute. Back then, she was even prettier. What's your problem, man? I think I went to college with this girl. Yeah, in fact, I think I had a crush on her. There was a woman that looked just like this back in college that I swear I kept thinking about her all the time. And I never even bothered to walk up and say, "Hi, I'm David." She looks like Geisha. Well, she's got the curly, that's like a naturally curly hair. Yeah, it's kind of a turn on. All I'm saying is women have to protect their innocence by not going to parties. These women went to parties. They knew what they were getting into, but they didn't expect the forced sex. Most women don't. So it's extremely disturbing to hear these allegations about Brett Kavanaugh, to think that he would decide a woman's fate and her right to have an abortion. Oh my gosh. Boy, stupidity has a crash course with logic right now. I've never seen such stupidity in our country under the president that we have. It's crazy. It's all unwinding, and all you Republicans want to cling to power. That's all you care about, at the will and the expense of this country selling off to Russia. It's amazing to me how you stand behind Trump and his Russian collusion. It just amazes me. So anyway, I find her a pretty woman. I'm glad that she's stepping forward. Don't denigrate her, please. She looks very nice. Okay, thank you. I feel sorry for women who've been victimized by people in frat parties. Next. All these false accusations they've been making. They claim that there's a picture of Christine Blasey with George Soros. It's totally false. No. There's no ties to Kavanaugh. Nah. Maybe attorneys were sharing their duties with the Clintons, but that's about it. And apparently, Miss Ford has passed Christine Blasey Ford has passed a polygraph examination. There she is, Christine Blasey. Hilton Hotel in Maryland on August 7th. She must have drove out to do this. The biggest scam in the history of mankind. Whoa, that looks good. Why? I'm saying these women are telling the truth. Yeah. Why would I be saying they're lying? Republicans are going to want to say that they're lying. I'm not me, man. I see these women as victims. See, I see the whole underbelly of corruption in our country all the way back to the frat rapists that are running around colleges getting away with it. It goes all the way. That's how they get the jobs as judges, because they're in the know. They get catered to in college, and they get away with these kinds of acts of rape. This needs to be exposed. This is just the beginning of the Me Too. We're going to call this a chasm, an abyss, a massive opening into the Me Too disclosure century that we're experiencing right now. Women are going to finally get their day in court, and this is going to come out, all of it. Yeah, she passed the polygraph, yeah. So she is telling the truth. She was attacked by Brett Kavanaugh based on the polygraph, which is inadmissible in court, but there's no telling. It can certainly be used in a Senate subcommittee hearing. There's no way you can claim it's inadmissible in a Senate subcommittee hearing. Polygraph is very viable, and it's at play. So if these politicians turn against Christine Blasey Ford, you need a bong hit? Well, you better be in a recreationally legal state. You're not allowed to do that in other states, you know. Yeah, but Mr. Right on call, light version for you, buddy.
You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I find. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true.
Thank you, and let me tell you, that was fun for me as well as for you. I loved playing that song. It inspires me. It makes me feel like there's a purpose behind what I'm doing here. Yeah, I know, it's kind of weird. I've got posters all around me saying, always believe in yourself. And I never really believed that poster was for me until now I know it's really for me. Always believe in yourself, David. That's right. I'm good enough and I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. Should men carry calendars with them to prove that? No, just don't act like a bunch of pervs all the time. Women don't want men around them who are a bunch of pervs. I mean, come on. Do you think women want to have sex with men? It's a sad reality that procreation is the primary motivation behind sex. So don't kid yourself, guys. They're not interested, okay? Tommy, no, I'd love to see you the courage to call the Hamburgers. Are you having a conversation with yourself, Hambies? Please. I can't allow that gay secret porn talk in the background. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Well, let's be clear. What Hambeast is doing is inappropriate, although it is considered free speech. I don't know. There's something weird about this. I'm having a hard time muting this guy. What the hell's wrong with... There we go. Thank you. Well, let me tell you. Pilgrim. I'm 6'4", just like John Wayne. And Abraham Lincoln. Okay, we did reveal the story about the handler dying. We talked about that. The guy that we saw who did the diazepam injection of Hillary to keep her stabilized during the election, he's dead. We're adding him to the list of 136 people body count connected to the Clintons. Somehow these people were connected.
Hillary Clinton's mysterious handler emerging from a tent with Hillary moments before she went on stage in Ohio and had a 4-minute coughing fit. This was after an ambulance was spotted traveling with Hillary Clinton's motorcade, out of which emerged EMTs who appeared to be wearing bulletproof vests, wheeling a gurney or a hospital bed. He also came to Hillary's aid immediately after she had another coughing fit while talking to journalists on the campaign plane. Ever since he appeared to calm Hillary when she was confronted by protesters, everyone has been asking, who is this guy?
You okay?
Well, he turned out to be a man who now died. He died. We don't even know what caused his death, but he's dead at a very young age, 49 years old. Very suspicious. Anybody that got close to the inner circle of Podesta and Hillary Clinton, they're gone. Anybody who knew too much about those pizzas that Hillary ordered for a gathering, she spent $9,000 on pizzas one day. And no one can identify the time that she actually had that gathering where she served pizzas. It's very suspicious. Who spends $9,000 at Comet Pizza for pizza? Well, she did, and so did George Soros. He spent $11,000 on pizza. I mean, who buys pizza for 11 grand? I don't get that. The only person that knows is James Alefantis. I don't know. I don't know what was in the pizza. I mean, was it made out of special ingredients? Chicken? Was it part of Podesta's pizza factory that he has out in Sonoma, California? It's called the Chicken Pizza Factory, owned by John Podesta. No one knows what it's all about. Well, we're not talking about commercial pizza, Howie. We're talking about Pizzagate. Yeah, if you didn't figure that out yet, we'll bring you up to speed. You're not allowed to talk about that on Reddit or on Twitter. But we have a moment here in time where we can actually share a little bit about things that you can't talk about. And talk about them. That's what we do here on Wasteful Wednesday. We waste our time. We can even go looking on Zillow for a house for you guys to live in. Some of you want to buy a cheap house. We can find you a cheap house. I waste my time on Wasteful Wednesday. You heard 5 bleeps on walking to the bathroom today? What were the 5 bleeps? Like the sound of a monitor? It's just monitor sounds you're probably hearing in the background. Yeah. Are you in telemetry right now, recovering, or did you go home? You sound like the hospital. You like food, pizza, more my thing, with spices, vegetables, and extra sauce and cheese, please. You just like to eat. Okay. Bad lip reading of Hillary Clinton. Hillary stories. Oh, you're in recovery. Good. You went home? Good. Home is the best place. You don't want to eat that hospital food anyway. You know what you like in your cupboard, right? That's right. Dave, stop talking about anything. Oh, we don't talk about, yeah, I haven't talked about those, I call them false flags. Yeah, I don't bring up anything specifically. That's one of my many talents is I talk about things without talking about things. Yeah, it's kind of a nice talent to not really make solid statements about certain things. It at least gives you those oblique edges so that you can kind of coast through the morass of public opinion that's constantly flying about everything you say or do. Because the problem is, and Trump is a victim of this, he's famous. He himself said he's a victim of being famous. I will tell you a couple things positive about Donald Trump that I think should be noted. I think we have benefited from his name. I really do. I don't think we can say that our country has not benefited from having Trump as our president in that regard. Just so I want all of you to know that I'm not hell-bent on hating somebody because they are this way or that. But I don't know how much we can trust of him. But I do believe that we're riding on his famous name. Indeed, I think his branding has really helped our country. And in a way, I think he was right when the UN laughed at him. I thought he was right. In a way, he has brought a lot of income. Our stock market's done more economically in a favorable direction since he became president than it's ever done prior, which is very interesting in a short period of time. Cannot dispute that in his defense. But can we trust him? Can we trust leaving him as our president? Will it affect our country's economic viability? I don't think we're riding totally on Donald Trump and his branding. I think we have a hell of a lot backing us, and our credibility as a nation and a large consuming nation stands before it. So it will hurt China if we cut trade relations with China, which Trump is trying to do. It will hurt China, but it won't hurt us in the same way. We will have problems getting supplies for parts repaired on a lot of cars. Well, it's going to be a big parts problem. But South Korea produces a tremendous amount of auto parts for most of our vehicles now. So, and we're not really buying a lot of General Motors, Chinese, GM, Shanghai vehicles anyway. So, I mean, it's not going to impact us as much as it might otherwise. So I think we're okay with the tariffs that are in place right now. I don't approve of them. I would go back to our earlier status with China, completely stop the tariff system that we have, even pull back on solar panel tariffs to a more normalized level, like 15%. Right now, solar panel producers have to pay 31% or 30% tariff if they're a regular long-time producer, and 250% tariff if they're a new solar producer out of China, which is impossible. They can't possibly compete in this market, and it's stifling our growth as a nation. You don't trust him because of the scandals he's been part of? That tells you Trump probably does much, much more in the hush-hush. Yeah, what we know of Trump looks pretty shady. I agree. I'm softening my rhetoric because right now, until Mueller makes a move, I'm not going to sharpen my rhetoric.
We put forward a plan.
We have a one-way direction to go in at this point, with or without Trump as our president. You know, regardless of whatever happens, we have one direction to go in, and that's forward. We can't live in the past either. So, if he was honest and decent, you'd support him. I know. Well, the problem is we don't have any honest and decent people in government. We have a lot of liars. Okay, Theresa May is saying, believe in Brexit. May and Trump plot great American trade deal, deliver for the people. Good. Well, that's good news. It'd be great if we had a trade deal with England.
For a new but still close relationship with frictionless trade at its heart. There's no other plan that protects jobs and livelihoods and also meets our commitments in Northern Ireland, while respecting how people voted in the largest democratic exercise in our history. And I believe that behind the noise of the headlines and the chattering of the commentators, there is much common ground in these objectives. We know that the other models on offer would not deliver for business, who would face either increased bureaucracy, additional border checks, or both. And so I've urged the EU to engage with our proposals so that we can move forward.
She's right. Increased bureaucracy and border checks with more open trade with the EU. I really think that the Brexit was a good move for the UK. I've always felt that, and that's why I said it 6 weeks before Trump said it 2 days before the Brexit. So I had that notion 6 weeks before. But I agree. I think they need to make a good trade deal with us. Absolutely. There's got to be something we can trade. Oh, really? That's great news, Anita. Yeah, you may not have the big C. That's great news. Oh, that's wonderful. Stick to a good diet and you should be able to get back on your feet again. Great. I don't believe that the Brexit will kick in, as you say. England has a similar structure to the United States, living on credit. Everything rides on the value of the British pound, much like your dollar. I don't believe Kavanaugh would be our best U.S. Supreme Court justice in history. He's proven to be a flip-flopper. He didn't even prosecute Hillary on the Vince Foster killing. He likes to buy too many season tickets to the Nationals baseball team. That's a serious liability. He could be bought off. Kavanaugh's the worst. He's the dirtiest choice we've ever had. That's how much I disagree with you. Oh, you had a panic attack during the prep? Did they give you like a Valium or something to calm you down? Sometimes they do that. Oh, I'm featured. No, really. They're pretty tight with Valium over in the UK. They don't want to be addicted or anything. I wish I had a president like John F. Kennedy. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. I know. Long time ago we had a guy like that. Now we have a CGI image. A physical prototype of the great president we had as John F. Kennedy. Yes. Well, I don't blame you for liking him. I liked him as he was my favorite president too. I do believe he was. I know he was an elite guy and he never would have been president if his dad hadn't been a big mobster guy. That much I know. But he knew that too. He also believed deep down that what he was doing was right. And I think with John F. Kennedy, you had a moral fiber that you don't see with many other presidents. That's my take. And yeah, the moral fiber that cheated on his wife with Marilyn Monroe, possible. I take that into consideration. But I'm talking about his commitment to the American people, not his commitment to his monogamous relationship with his wife. You've got stabilized footage of the JFK assassination? Great, let's take a look at it. I was looking for exactly that clip. Thank you. You know me too well, Dark Engine. All right, we're going to take a look at this clip of the stabilized video panoramic shot of the John F. Kennedy assassination. Here we go. The Zapruder film. Wow. Heavy duty. Unbelievable. That was totally still and quiet, and it was like watching a silent movie, wasn't it? Yeah, it was horrible. But you know, I appreciate the fact that they've done a lot of work with the Zapruder film, but let's face it, the Zapruder film was already doctored for 3 weeks by the FBI prior to it being seen publicly. I think Geraldo Rivera was the first person to reveal it on his show. So I don't really trust any of the footage, because what I think they did is they cut a segment out of like a 1 second segment where the car actually stopped. Yeah. They edited the only copy, yeah. And it will never know. Mr. Anderson. It's the stench, Mr. Anderson. The smell of humanity. If everyone had a porta potty, we'd be all living in it, Mr. Anderson. I'm still working on my it's basically it's a mobile Land Rover vehicle that has a pot in it that you can actually recycle your waste and turn it into methane. So you basically, and you sit in a comfy chair and it has a bidet built into it. So you have a flap on your pants to, you know, relieve yourself. Yep. And you basically can drive around with a tube hooked up to, one a feeding tube and the other one for defecation and urination. And you have the power to travel based on your own body fluids. You like the idea? I can't even imagine such a thing. They profiled the item on Idiocracy. It's the poop chair. Introducing the poop chair. Yeah, the guy was sitting in a big easy chair. And he was going to the bathroom in it. So he's sitting in the movie, he's sitting there and eating, and it turns out the thing has a toilet in it. But my unit would have wheels on it too. I'm kidding.
Huh? Where's... Hold on.
Bang tube.
Oh, I'm biting.
Anyway, that's the reference to the movie Idiocracy. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty intense. It talks about the future of the world where stupid people replicate and smart people don't have babies. What do you think about the World War II reparations? Well, I think that the Japanese people deserve the $25,000 they were given based on the incarceration of their family. I don't think there was a problem with that. Yeah, I think that the money that went out to the Japanese internment camp victims was appropriate. Why? Are you seeking reparation for World War II yourself? Halloween issue, Jack the Ripper, full documentary. Whoa. Cool. We can play that tonight. Yeah.
Retired murder squad detective Trevor
We will.
Murray.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that tidbit. And we've got the best information so far about the drugging and allegations of drugging. The third accuser is now saying that Kavanaugh was drugging his victims. Again, all of this stuff is shocking, and I can't even believe Brett Kavanaugh is even being discussed for nomination. They should just abandon the entire thing and say cancel the visit and say, ma'am, you don't have to testify. If John McCain was alive, he would say, ma'am, Brett Kavanaugh is not a Muslim, ma'am. Julie Swetnick, age 55, is the third woman to come forward to accuse Brett Kavanaugh of sexual assault. She allegedly failed to pay over $100,000 in taxes and fees in Maryland and to the Internal Revenue since 2015, by the way. So she's in arrears for about $100,000 in fees to Maryland. Swetnick has also allegedly owed $40,000 to the IRS stemming from unpaid 2014 taxes, resulting in a federal tax lien on her home. Her attorney, Michael Abinetti, told Daily Mail that she had paid all of them in full and the debts are irrelevant to her claims. So they're all paid up in full. Everything was paid up. Her father, aged 95, said he had virtually no contact with her for the last decade, but was shocked by the allegations she has leveled. Well, I am shocked that my daughter, the guy's 95 years old.
Kavanaugh sexual assault on Wednesday. Lawyer Michael Avenatti saying on Twitter he submitted a sworn statement from the woman to the Senate Judiciary Committee. The bombshell coming a day before Kavanaugh's momentous showdown on Capitol Hill with his initial accuser, Christine Blasey Ford. Earlier this week, accusations surfaced from a second woman, Deborah Ramirez, who says Kavanaugh exposed himself during a drunken dormitory party in college. Kavanaugh hitting back in a new denial Wednesday. In testimony to the Judiciary Committee released ahead of Thursday's hearing, he said he, quote, never did anything remotely resembling Ford's accusations, and called other accusations last-minute smears, pure and simple. Even as the accusations pile up, Republicans are pushing ahead, scheduling a committee vote on Kavanaugh's nomination for 9:30 Friday morning.
They could have pushed it through 2.5 weeks ago, and you wouldn't be talking about it right now, which is frankly what I would have preferred. But they didn't do that.
Blasey Ford's lawyers say she will provide senators with sworn statements from 4 people to back up her claims. Republicans say the Judiciary Committee has hired Rachel Mitchell, a sex crimes prosecutor from Arizona, to question Ford on their behalf, looking to avoid the bad optics of their all-male lineup questioning Blasey Ford.
Okay, I think we've had enough of the merry-go-round of this entire ridiculous discussion of this topic when we are being sprayed like insects with chemicals on a daily basis, and we're talking about this stupid allegation about this guy that should never have migrated to the position where he is. He can't remember what happened to him those nights because he was drinking heavily. We don't want an alcoholic for a Supreme Court justice. This guy should have a blood alcohol check when he's when he's under oath. They should breathalyze this guy when he's under oath just to make sure he's not drunk. I'm serious. Based on what we're reading about and all the allegations that do have merit, like the stories of his drunken parties, which all have merit, this guy needs to be drug tested. I don't want a rapist or an alcoholic or both as a Supreme Court justice. Thank you. That's why I'm throwing my name in the hat. You could put me in the running. I'll be the next Supreme Court justice. Sure, why not? I would serve the courts. I'd be fair, decent. Just like Elena Kagan, I have no previous judicial experience. Unbelievable. Well, when you look at the root of it all, you realize that our country's been borrowing against its equity after the war because the Nazis still dug in when they took over our country.
Rich men have been hiring thugs to do their dirty work, especially to frighten people, since human civilization began.
You think? You think? You think? I don't think anyone's thinking right now. I mean, we're kind of just rolling with the punches here. I think this has been an endless Twitter fest for Trump, and we as a nation have suffered. I feel victimized by his tweets. I did have I had a little rice, and I had some beef, and I had some vegetable. Yes, sir. It was good, too. I got a special way of making top sirloin. Sarah likes it. It's tender. Well, I took some top sirloin I pulled out of the freezer that I paid $3 for about a pound. It was one of those past due meat items, and whenever it says the word sirloin, you should get it. That's the tender one. Just look for the word sirloin and you'll be fine. Then I sliced it, marinated it with a quick marinade of a little bit of ketchup, Tabasco sauce, and papaya. I have some marinated tenderizer. First you put the papaya down, and then you put the ketchup over that, and just let it set for about an hour. And I slow cooked it, and it just tasted delectable. It was really good. No, tomorrow we do a cooking show. I'm going to be making a low-carb delight. Yeah, I'm not sure what the delight part is yet. Low-carb delight is the key. But yeah, ketchup actually has vinegar in it. It works as a tenderizing agent. And you hardly even notice it with strips of beef. Even the sugar, just don't get ketchup with corn syrup, though. Always avoid corn syrup in your ketchup. Ay, 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 papaya, ay, ay. Seal slaps man with octopus. Yeah, I was trying to get this earlier, but it didn't come in. I've got it live. Let's go to our affiliate in Octopus Land. All right, here we go.
Underwater?
Yeah.
Whoa! What?
There's an octopus on my boat!
No way!
My boat!
That was mental!
He's actually holding my boat!
Yeah, nice. Ow!
Only.
Underwater?
Yeah.
Whoa! What?
There's an octopus on my boat!
No way!
My boat!
That was mental!
He's actually holding my boat!
Yeah, nice. Ow!
Only. I hate octopus too.
No!
There's an octopus under my boat! The seal's got him!
Oh, it says right here.
Okay, now we never really established if the seal was actually throwing the octopus at the boat, or were they trying to eat the octopus? Low Carb Delight will be I'm building the Low Carb Delight with cauliflower. I found a 99-cent cauliflower yesterday, or today. It was marked down, and I cut some of the edges off of it, so it's perfectly fine. I haven't decided what the delight part will be. Okay, we'll be invented nukes. We're pretty crap for the planet right now. Oh yeah, we have nukes, Hambies, don't worry. Yeah, we can totally annihilate the entire population 40 times over. Yeah. If worse comes to worse, they'll just push the button and it'll all be over. This whole sad nightmare of your life will be over. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's kind of messed up. I wish it wasn't this way, but it's been that way ever since the radiation started spilling and all that waste hit the atmosphere back around 1946, right after the testing. The Bikini Islands testing kind of kicked it all off with the Manhattan Project, and then voila, radiation over the entire planet. Planito. Yes. It's not fun. It really isn't. Sometimes I like to pick out random pictures from my library. Yeah, it's hard to find random pictures that are topical. I like this one. We the People Have Had Enough. It's one of my favorite. And then I give it a little tilt and have it go, up and down. The equivalent of fisting. Yeah, we the American people have had enough, truly. We don't need any more of this garbage. And why are we even dealing with people that are this disreputable in front of us to decide whether we think this is a good guy or not? Because our decision won't play into whether the Senate makes a decision. But as our duly representative corporate pig representatives, the Senate's going to make their decisions regardless. And we just have to sit and grin and bear it. I'm sorry, that was just a picture of some horrible scene. It's one of the back alley abortions that will be taking place when women have to be forced to to go to back alley abortion clinics to get, end their early pregnancy. What would you do to help the homeless? We have a great idea. Provide drone surveillance at all times. All homeless populations will be videotaped, and you'll be able to watch them on screen. A donation point will be set up, so you'll see the suffering that's going on in your community, and you'll be able to mail a check or make a credit card donation to help the people in your area to supply them with a mobile medical unit. Because I want to have a lot of this philanthropy work funding the mobile medical units. Yeah, I'm kind of the Jerry Lewis of modern day solicitation for helping poor people. So we'll set up a telethon where we'll help poor people get money by giving you video representation of what it's like to be living in a homeless environment in America. So using drone technology, we'll be taking pictures of this. You'll have good close-up pictures of some of the suffering that's going on in your area because you didn't donate a dime to a plan that will help people. Now, I see people all the time on the side of the road wanting money, and I know if I give it to them, they're going to think this is their home, and they're going to all come here, and pretty soon we'll have people, sitting on all the corners because people like me would be giving them money. So I'd rather get them a mobile service unit to give them the necessary services they need. Now, the mobile medical units we've slated will cost $5 million. The mobile service units will cost $2 million. And we'll be able to get these things out. They'll have mobile showering facilities with recycled water systems running at a warm temperature of about 96 degrees, so it doesn't burn people. Yeah, it's just warm, not hot. We will make sure that all the 10 cities have these units equipped with washers and dryers for people to clean their clothes. And many of you who will wonder, are we helping these people? And the answer is, yeah. You'll finally feel a little less guilty for what's been going on. I feel bad that I can't give these people money because I know if I give them money, they're going to stay here and then make a camp out in my community. Yeah. Have you ever thought? No, I haven't. I try not to. Doesn't that take more energy to think? I heard if you use less energy, you'll live longer. So I'm cutting back on my thinking. It's one of my energy conservation techniques. I didn't know that Mark Zuckerberg has a toe jam cleaning specialist that goes to his house for $50,000 a year to clean his toe jams. Thank you for sharing. I love fries. Extreme weather dark engine. Woo! Okay, let's take a look at this. Whoa, this is extreme. Holy moly. Roger Telenier.
Hey, you do that forever!
Wow. These are the end of times. The foreboding truth of pestilence that is plaguing mankind. These are the end of times prophesied in the Bible. Hey, he may have a point. We'll play that tonight and see if you guys agree. Next. Anyone want to see an encore presentation of the assassination of our best, greatest president? No. I know, he's been saying that for 7 years, Pastor Paul Begley has. When they keep saying it, the end of times are so near, you wonder, are they reading the script of some evil doer that says that we're all doomed? I mean, how many of these preachers are really worshiping God?
Hillary stories.
I'm ready for breadsticks. A while back, Bill and I went to the store and we bought some locusts. They were in a bag, and the girl who worked there tried to open the locust near Bill. And I heard Bill crying and figured out he's really scared of locusts.
This will be great. We'll kick that off at the top of the hour. So you'll have to wade through 45 minutes of me talking for 45 minutes. Oh, sorry. I'm up. I'm ready to go. We've been doing a little fisting activity in the background. Well, we the people have had enough. So We're just saying, hey, we're giving it to him right now. I'll be hitting the fisting button during the show. Okay. So many things to talk about, so many discussions. We have amazing news for you. There is a waste recovery system being developed in America called the Ocean Cleanup Nonprofit. They're trying to develop a long 2,000-foot boom that floats. It's a multi-million-dollar floating boom designed to corral plastic debris littering the Pacific Ocean, deployed from San Francisco Bay on Saturday. And this was September 9th, so it's been out there sucking plastic in. I can't wait to see how much it takes in. The 2,000-foot long unmanned structure was the product of about $20 million in funding from the Ocean Cleanup Nonprofit that aims to trap up to 150,000 pounds of plastic during the boom's first year at sea. Yay! Gosh, I love this. This is my favorite stuff to talk about. Within 5 years, with the creation of dozens more booms, the organization hopes to clean half the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. That's the Pacific Gyre that we're talking about. The gyre, trash between California and Hawaii, comprises an estimated 1.8 trillion pieces of scattered detritus, including at least 87,000 tons of plastic. The boom will be towed to a site where it will undergo 2 weeks of testing. If everything goes as planned, the boom will be brought to the garbage patch nearly 1,400 miles offshore, where it is expected to arrive by mid-October, says Boyan Slat, age 24, the Dutch inventor and entrepreneur who founded Ocean Cleanup. That is so great. This is a real, this is a TED Talk turned into reality. And Boyan Slat is the guy who's been really the forerunner on the subject. Person of interest says, David, my wife just got back from the Philippines. Davao City has your show on during the morning at all the cafes. Person of interest, eyewitness accounts of our show being seen early in morning in the Philippines. Welcome. We have talked about the marijuana drop. Apparently America has a lot of marijuana stored up at the DEA. And when I legalize marijuana, I don't want to keep any of that marijuana in the DEA. We're wasting time storing it. So I've got this plan of airdropping marijuana on the city of Manila. So I created Marijuanilla, the airdrop marijuana plan. Yes, so count on that, Philippine. Yes, we're trying to get you as much marijuana as you can possibly smoke. We want your president to know that we're not going to be threatened or in any way affected by his totalitarian regime and his attempt to take control over all the medicinal marijuana outlets in your area. Poor people of the Philippines can't get any relief from medicinal marijuana. Isn't that sad? So Marijuanilla is definitely a plan. I will scale up once we get the DEA to clear out there. First, we have to legalize marijuana and sort through the worst possible marijuana. You will be getting low-grade, paraquat-ridden Mexican weed, but whatever. We just don't want to store that anymore. When I'm president, we don't want any storage of that crap. My goodness. What do they do with it anyway? What do they take all that paraquat-ridden Mexican weed? What do they do? Oh, that's right. They sell it to Canada. They're buying directly from the cartels in Canada right now. You poor Canadians have to smoke this god-awful Mexican weed, man. Jeez. And plus, we talked about that situation where they let out a guy who severed the man's head 10 years ago in a bus. Yeah, we did that last night. I don't want to go over it again, but they let out the guy that cut the guy's head off in the bus. He's walking the streets in Canada and Manitoba right now. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? People are freaking out, man.
Hey, do you ever wonder, what is going on? I mean, do you ever, wake up or do something and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, we're right over in Mindanao, so we should have no problem getting our vessels to airdrop rather quickly. We could do a stealth airdrop over Manila, no problem. Duterte, if he tries to strike down on one of our planes, will basically retaliate. Yeah. He'll be told to stand down. You know what pisses me off about Duterte is he's killing 6,000 marijuana suppliers, and these people may or may not be dealing other drugs. I don't know, but he's doing it without a trial. Anybody who does that is a despot, just like Pol Pot, Hitler, Attila the Hun. Isla Fry says, Dave, I've analyzed your plan. There are no flaws in your plan. I know. It won't hurt to get marijuana on the streets and people just pick it up and hide it. Yeah, everybody will feel like they've got something of value and importance. It'll empower the people in Manila. I did a video on Wasteful Wednesday a few months ago. And it was just a sad... I'll play a little of it for you. In Manila, BBC News did this video on the people that eat out of the garbage. And in Manila, they're so poor, they go out of their way to go through the garbage of restaurants. And this man works for about 50 cents a day, going through the garbage meat in the restaurants to pick out meat that he puts in a bag and he sells as what is called pagu. Pag. Thank you. It's called Pag. It's cooked and sold in nearby communities. Anyway, what happens is this guy buys it from a person that hands it to him and puts it in his restaurant. And he has a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant. He cuts up this food and makes it into a soup. And he sells it to people in his area for 20 cents a bowl. This is how he survives. Anyway. I will play China's food safety issue. Let's do this one. Yeah, let me show you how bad the conditions are in this area. It's just horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I mean, these people in Manila are living in a state of hell. They really are. And there's no doubt about it. The poverty is just unbelievable. Stage 1 collection. Rubbish from fast food chains are delivered to the dump. This guy's been doing this for 5 months now. 12 noon and he's still working at 12 at night. Sorting through garbage with rubber gloves on. He's storing fries so that he sells that in a separate bag. I'm serious. This is the most disgusting, poor, and then the guy that buys it cooks it up. This is the end product of all that work that he just did. He sells it to a guy for 50 cents for the whole bag. And that guy takes it back and sells it 20 cents a bowl for the food. Nice, huh? Chicken parts and whatever. The restaurant owner, Norberto. Okay, this is Manila, 6 a.m. Did you see that? Take a look at this. Okay, walking to my restaurant, and he has like a hole in the wall. The poor guy can barely, make a living. This is his restaurant. That's his restaurant. He removes the bones, makes sure there's only meat that goes into the actual food. They cook it, remove any bones. He boils it, cleans it. Yeah. Then he serves a wonderful dish. This guy actually likes to eat it. Okay, Happy Land Rubbish Dump, Manila. Aren't you glad you're living in America? Let me play that tonight in our loop. Why not? Yeah, I like to play this video once in, every single time I play it. It humbles me, I'll tell you. Thank you very much for seeing that. I wanted everybody to see that. Pag, it's called. Your chemtrail anti-reflector glazies are freaking you out? Really? Nice. Thank you. Miami will be underwater soon. Its drinking water could go first. Okay, Miami is sinking, or the water levels are rising, or both. Okay, let's take a look at this short clip. They have a serious water problem in Miami now. Wow. Ancient water treatment plants peeking out from behind rundown bungalows. There's 15 wells making up the clean water source for Miami-Dade County. We have a very delicate balance and a highly managed system, he says. Mostly dry except for the water. Miami-Dade is built on the Biscayne Aquifer, unusually shallow and porous limestone whose tiny air pockets are filled with rainwater and rivers running from the swamp to the ocean. Okay. They need an abundance of fresh water. Climate change is slowly pulling that machine apart. Oh gosh, climate change, yeah. Global warming, oh yeah. Let's not forget we're being sprayed like insects. I mean, why do we have to keep hearing about global climate change and warning of greenhouse gases when they're dumping chemicals on our heads? Thank you, Dark Engine, for warning us about the rising waters and the chemtrails. Need to be discussed. We need to talk about these. Crazy. Good questions. They don't talk about it. Nobody in the Democratic Republican Party wants to talk about chemtrails. That's why we're here every night. It's the skeleton in the closet. It's the elephant in the closet. It's the skeleton of the elephant in the closet. The elephant skeleton. Well, they keep spraying every day. It's nonstop where I live. I think it is keeping us from getting smart because I have a feeling what they're spraying is dumbing down lithium in the atmosphere, a known neurotoxin. Causes severe brain damage. It's worse than arsenic, or it's worse than lead, but not as bad as arsenic. Lithium. So maybe you're on lithium. They're just giving it to you as a daily dose. Okay. It's not natural. No, it isn't. There's nothing natural about lithium. Naturally derived lithium for your health and well-being. So we're going to have to get an answer out of Kirsten, the Homeland Security Secretary, Kirsten Nielsen. She seems to have a nice face, and she puts a nice face on the whole thing, but we don't need a pretty face. We need to find out where the 2,300 kids are and why she's denied having anything to do with it. When she openly lied, that's right, she said the Secretary of Homeland Security said there was no policy of separating families. A memo proves there was. She knew about this memo too, so she's now on record as a liar, much like Sarah Sanders, Huckabee Sanders. Oh man, she's in deep water because she said that Trump weighed in on his son's testimony with the Trump Tower meeting in question. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, you just admitted that Trump committed obstruction of justice. You can't weigh in on a subject where somebody's testimony is involved. So Sarah Huckabee Sanders essentially said that Trump committed obstruction of justice by weighing in. You can't weigh in on somebody when they're going to testify. Your dad traveled maniacally all over, never refused a meal. Yes, everyone's head is buried in the sand. Soon everyone's head will be in the sand. So true, man. That should be Confucius says. Confucius says, everyone's head is buried in the sand. Soon everyone's head will be in sand. Okay, you're talking about your dad. Are these dad story times? Are you wasting my time with dad story times? Well, I should go to Zillow and look for a place to, move to. Yeah, I'm getting all kinds of jet noise, and I've got noise pollution like crazy where I live. And I was thinking maybe I could move to, I don't know. Would be a good place. How about Idaho? Boise, Idaho. I'm going to set my parameters up for Zillow to look for a place in Boise, Idaho. Up to $80,000? No. Let's do something really reasonable. Up to, say, $40,000. Nothing. With one bed? Wow, there's hardly anything for $40,000. These are all foreclosures. Wow, Boise's a little pricey. How about Spokane? It's even worse. Spokane, Washington. One property available for $40,000. It's a very nice place. Look at that. But it's a trailer park. Yeah. Oh well, that's not bad for 40 grand. Okay, let's move to someplace else. Any requests for locations? Kurt Cobain was on lithium. Yeah, that explains a lot, man. I tell everybody, if you're going to buy property, you got to go to that location. You can't buy it sight unseen. The most important thing is not having neighbors. Not knowing your neighbors. The most important thing is not having neighbors. Yeah. If your neighbors are breathing all around you, it's going to be a problem. You're not going to feel totally comfortable. So if you go to a place out in the middle of nowhere, you'll avoid getting neighbors. But say you want to, find a place in recreational Colorado. Colorado Springs, Colorado. There's one place available, but it's only a piece of property to park your trailer. $5,000 will get you this small lot in Colorado. Colorado Springs, Colorado. This is not a residential lot. No permanent structures allowed because there's a main water line under the ground. It can be used as a garden. That's it. Great mountain views. Okay, well, maybe you can grow some pot there. Okay, whatever. Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to do something with that property. Well, it's 3,300 square feet. People are going to know you're going to grow pot there. It's going to be robbed. Most expensive pizza in the world with edible gold flake. Talk about wasteful spending. We're now going to look at the most expensive pizza in the world. Yes. The gold leaf extravaganza. The edible gold flake topping is $2,000 per pie. I highly recommend it on our menu. Gross. I wouldn't eat gold flake, edible gold flake. That's just gross. It's a waste of money too, yeah. I don't doubt it. Okay, we got a really good map of the weather. I'm going to give you a link to the weather mapping that is pretty awesome. This came to us via our show last month. This is a pretty cool way of looking at the weather patterns. There's one over for iLog. I'm giving out links. Free. Free links! I did not see that. I saw bits and pieces of the live Trump press conference where he openly said that he's a victim of this false accusation. He's trying to complain that somehow he's a victim of false accusation. You know that Trump denies that he ever said to Billy Bush, I just grabbed them by the beep beep, about women. He denies saying that, even though he's on recorded audio tape with 8 witnesses. He says he didn't do it, and he claims he's a victim and he knows what it's like to be victimized. I know what it's like to be victimized. I too am a victim of... Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. I can't even believe he's having press conferences in between fish burgers and Diet Coke. What a guy. There seems to be I thought there was something going on out... Yep, there is. Check it out. It's brewing. You've got weather warfare going on, folks. We're talking out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. They're building another massive hurricane. I'm bringing it to you live as we speak. They're building this massive hurricane out there. Now, this is not a place where you normally see weather going westward into the oncoming breeze. Thank you. Hey, thank you very much. Ivanka, I love you, but you need to wear some deodorant. I'm just being honest. All right. That's the same hurricane. No, it's not same hurricane. It's different hurricane, a spade. Yes, different hurricane. This is what they call weather warfare. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but you have been deceived. What you're about to see is weather warfare. They're doing it to us every day. They're dumping on us, man. This is what they do. They drop the heavy metals in the atmosphere. Then they hit the heavy metals with radio frequency zaps. And then they create these divots or dimples in the middle of the hurricane, creating a dimple hurricane, a divot. It was described by one person as a divot. This is dealing with wind speed, 10 meters above the ground. You're looking at, in the red, 80-mile-per-hour winds right now. In the current hurricane is at 80-mile-per-hour winds. Dave, what's a chemtrail pilot make in a year? They make $200,000 a year plus benefits by dumping chemicals on your head. They make the equivalent of a standard Air Force One pilot. How do you prepare for shows do you do each night? Well, what I do is I do a type of organic, virtual, interactive chat. And it is a type of chat where I can interact with the show and take links from other people and talk about them. It's basically advanced improv. I was originally around a lot of people that did improv back in LA at one time. I myself am not a professional comedian. I do this on a site called americasthirdparty.com. This site right here. And we also have multiple sites as well. We have one site called coolrock.com, but my feed's down over there, I noticed. I don't know, sometimes Mark blocks the feed, so when I go to Cool Rock, I sometimes don't see it. So I'm thinking of putting the Tiki live show into that slot. But I'll keep the pop-out chat there. See? This is what Mark does to our show now. So when people go to Cool Rock, they get this. They like the chat, but they don't get, they have to keep clicking this before they can get in about 50 times. So this is how they're censoring us. This is a classic example. So we use this as kind of a benchmark for what's happening. But if you want to see our YouTube channel, you can watch all our videos there. Or you go to Scissor Fights Music. This has all his music. Or we have a cool song lyric generator here just to play around. We've also got music playing in the back of the songs that are playing. I've got a dead lake here for Drone FX. I'm going to clear that out. And I got a dead lake here over here. Wow. Okay, so I'll get back to that and do some work on my Cool Rock site tonight. Yeah, chemtrails might have something in them that can make frogs gay. I just believe that there's a serious backlash from environmental contamination going on. We're all affected. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the environment over at Vaughn. It's a little bit weird for them. Yeah, anyway, there's this is a new storm brewing. I don't know if they've given it a name yet. But at the center, you're looking at 55 mile per hour winds, 57. It's topping off at 57 that I can read. I'm hovering over it. Oh no, they got 70 mile an hours over here, yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I see 70 as the highest speed. I'm just hiding behind the scrim here. Oh, sorry. All right, great to have all of you talking about things. At least we have things to talk about. You know, thank goodness we've got all these discussions going on. We talked the early show, the pre-show, we talked about how Clarence Thomas has never written anything. And he's one of the first Me Too cases of the Supreme Court. He's never actually written any briefs, and he's never had any opinions. It's kind of bizarre how they just rubber stamped his approval. If they do that with Brett Kavanaugh, I think Congress is going to face a backlash from the American people, because women are upset that they're not taking this seriously. We have a 6-minute video from Real Time with Bill Maher, New Rule, the Empathy Gap. So he's going to take his shot at the B2 generation and see what he thinks.
About how immigrants are ruining the country, and the second half on the uplifting stories of your immigrant parents.
I don't know what that's about. We'll look at that a little bit later tonight as well. Yes, Storm of Bruin, Stormy Daniels. Hambeast has a cool picture of the Earth, which is a very cool null pattern, which you can actually zoom in on. Isn't that awesome? And this is weather tracking at its best. I believe that they did this through myweather.com. And the Rothschilds have produced this amazing mapping technology of the effects of chemicals and weather modification. We drop the heavy metals on you, we analyze the weather movements, we shoot it with radar, and then you come up with the weather predictability patterns, the Doppler radar. And you can thank the Rothschilds for buying weather.com. Thank you so much. Full transcript, Christine Blasey Ford's opening statement of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Let's read it. All right. They're actually publishing a transcript. I was an undergraduate at the University of North Carolina, earned my degree in experimental psychology in 1988. I received a master's degree in 1991. See, this is what tomorrow's going to be like. I don't want to wade through this. I've already spent hours talking about the same subject for the past 4 days. It's like I'm not going to start a show early tomorrow just to talk about the same talking points. I doubt anything's going to change. Rosenstein might be fired. Rod Rosenstein might be fired. That's a big story that we will cover. Yes, so she talked about her life. She put it all down in paper. When I got to the small gathering, people were drinking beer in a small living room on the first floor of the house. I drank one beer that evening. Brett and Mark were visibly drunk. Early in the evening, I went up a narrow set of stairs leading from the living room to a second floor to use the bathroom. When I got to the top of the stairs, I was pushed from behind into a bedroom. I couldn't see who pushed me. Brett and Mark came into the bedroom and locked the door behind them. There was music already playing in the bedroom. It was turned up louder by either Brett or Mark once we were in the room. I was pushed onto the bed and Brett got on top of me. He began running his hands over my body, grinding his hips into me. I yelled, hoping someone would downstairs might hear me, and tried to get away from him, but his weight was heavy. Brett groped me and tried to take off my clothes. He had a hard time because he was so drunk, and because I was wearing a one-piece bathing suit under my clothes. I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from screaming. This was what terrified me the most, and has had the most lasting impact on my life. It was hard for me to breathe, and I thought that Brett was accidentally going to kill me. Both Brett and Mark were drunkenly laughing during the attack. They both seemed to be having a good time. Mark was urging Brett on, although at times he told Brett to stop. A couple of times I made eye contact with Mark and thought he might try to help me, but he did not. During this assault, Mark came over and jumped on the bed twice while Brett was on top of me. The last time he did this, we toppled over and Brett was no longer on top of me. I was able to get up and run out of the room. Directly across from the bathroom, or the bedroom, was a small bathroom. I ran inside the bathroom and locked the door. I heard Brett and Mark leave the bedroom laughing and loudly walking down the narrow stairs, pinballing off the walls on the way down. I waited, and when I did not hear them come back up the stairs, I left the bathroom, ran down the stairs, through the living room, and left the house. I remember being on the street and feeling an enormous sense of relief that I had escaped from the house and that Brett and Mark were not coming after me. Huh. Brett's assault on me drastically altered my life. For a very long time, I was too afraid and ashamed to tell anyone the details. I did not want to tell my parents that I, at age 15, was in a house without any parents present, drinking beer with boys. I tried to convince myself that because Brett did not rape me, I should be able to move on and just pretend it had never happened. Over the years, I told very few friends that I had this traumatic experience. I told my husband, before we were married, that I had experienced a sexual assault. I had never told the details to anyone until May 2012 during a couples counseling session. The reason this came up in counseling is that my husband and I had completed an intensive remodel of our home, and I insisted on a second front door, an idea that he and others disagreed with and could not understand. In explaining why I wanted to have a second front door, I described the assault in detail. I recall saying that the boy who assaulted me would someday be on the U.S. Supreme Court and spoke a bit about his background. My husband recalled that I named my attacker as Brett Kavanaugh. So she corroborated her story with the therapy session in 2012. Wow. This is a very intelligent woman who's probably sacrificing her career to help the American people make a good decision and the senators to make a good decision about the outcome of this. Just don't think for a second she's being bought off. I seriously doubt that. Hey, we have Enigma tonight. Okay. Communion. O Sacrum. All right, I'll check it out. Check it out. Thank you. A 90s anonymous group. Enigma is not anonymous. No, they're a famous group. I don't know. I can't imagine being Ham Beast and obsessing about Enigma. The Mark guy. He's been claiming he doesn't do anything but ban 350 million VPNs. So that's not exactly an innocence. Howie, not many people think to defecate on themselves to avoid being, raped. You're one of the only people I've ever heard would think of that. The one thing you can say is that you have AIDS when you're being raped. That's one thing that'll take the guys off of you. Yeah, most people don't want to have sex with you if you have AIDS. Unless you're Charlie Sheen, God forbid he'd ever do that. I don't think he would. He really does have AIDS, though, if somebody were to rape him. I don't think any ladies are going to rape you guys. Sorry. I hate to say it, but yeah. You're wishing for something that'll never happen. Okay, I got a couple of videos lined up tonight. They're still pushing the Las Vegas garbage, and I've got the CGI super typhoon. Some people believe that the Hurricane Florence was CGI to make it seem bigger than it was, to prove that somehow climate change is happening rapidly, to scare us. And then they've got a discussion on Australia's first satanic charity event. They're actually looking for blood, these Satanists are. Wow. That's some seriously messed up thing. And we reported that Trump is pushing some drug UN drug war plan. It's probably some way in which the CIA can make more money on heroin. He gets 100 countries to sign on to his UN drug war plan, ignoring changing thinking on the human rights and legalization campaign. Trump is proving to be way out of his whack, way out of the sync with our time that we're living in. He's a 20th century president in a 21st century. He's a dinosaur. It's amazing he's even functional. Your sex life is over. Time to be a grandpa. Forget about enjoying your life. Many of you are facing a midlife crisis even if you're 25 years old, so don't worry about it. It happens continuously throughout life. It's not unusual to have a midlife crisis daily. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't think women need to do anything for you, Howie. That's the thing. You got it all wrong. You need to do something for them. You keep wanting to be served. You got to serve somebody. Like Bob Dylan said. You got to serve somebody. Was he serving Lucifer? No one could ever find that out. Bob Dylan serving somebody. Well, we'll never know. Only the maker, only the Savior will know for sure. Dylan. You know, I was looking for my pictures of, well, the Holocaust, and I have numerous things in my record, but I don't want to play that stuff. I really don't want to play pictures of the Holocaust to prove to you that it really did happen. And don't tell me it was Photoshop, because they didn't have Photoshop in 1946. 10 of the more strange national park disappearances, volume 23. Dark Engine's been doing a series. I'm thinking you're going to write a book or something about strange and mysterious disappearances in the national park. Here's Bob Dylan.
You're still out here doing these songs, you know, you're still on tour.
I do, but I don't take it for granted.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I mean, I made a bargain with it, you know, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And on this earth, and then in a world we can't see.
Bob Dylan is possibly a Luciferian. What is the bargain he made to get his success? What does that mean? Was he making a deal with the devil? He sounds like Bob Dylan to me. Bruce Springsteen's totally different. Big time different. There's Donald Trump back in the day with a picture taken outside his sports car when he was fueling up in New York on a trip to New Jersey to do some work in his casino. Yeah. Take a look at the Trumpster back in the day, you know? We're talking the price of gas $1.29 a gallon. It's got to be like 1980 or something here. Yeah. The Donald. I'm thinking I should go as a cybernetic Donald Trump morphed with Alex Jones. I was thinking of calling myself Donald Jones. Well, I'd like to talk like this, but I want to talk like this. I want to break into a hysterical rant about how God is empowering me. But I'd rather not, because I'm not that religious. I just worship the Zionist belief system. I think it'd be kind of funny, and I'll wear my cybernetic mask, and I'll be caught in between Donald and Alex. The Donald Alex show. The Donald Jones show. Oh, whatever. I haven't decided if I'm going to go as anything. I saw this horrible mask today at a thrift store. I didn't buy it. It was a picture. It was evil. It was pure red evil. It was an evil red mask. I wouldn't buy it. It had bad karma. Yeah. So we got a lot to talk about. Tomorrow's going to be a big day, processing the same information over and over again. Yes, I can do the Mexican accent. See? I was working around Mexicans for many years. They would often call me names like, "Hey, Maricon, puto," things like that. I don't know what they mean. I found out later that that meant homosexual. Can you imagine calling somebody a homosexual? Hey, Maricon. What is wrong with these macho guys from Mexico? Can't they see a stud, a heterosexual stud, when they see one? I could never understand that. Yeah, they like to be Mr. Machismo, man. You know? So they call people gay. Mucho macho. Okay, Hillary, what do you say? Well, you know, we could do an impersonation of Hillary. I was thinking, wouldn't it be kind of nice if I could dress up like Hillary and get that hairdo? Because I do look a lot like her. Okay, that's getting a little too weird. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, I managed to make it all the way to the end of the show, and I'm going to do the wig Wednesday. Just so I have 7 minutes wearing a wig. Hang on. Today we have our wig lineup. You know what I'm doing? I'm saving these bags and using them at the market. I'm no longer using these things anymore. I think these things are a real problem. So when you use them for vegetables and you throw them out, it's a terrible waste. I was thinking of just like using them over and over again, as long as they don't smell. So I'm packing them away. I use them for covering this wig, but I'll use the small wig today. All right. Well, I don't know. This is just not working for me right here. Maybe that's better. Ooh, yeah. That's better. Ooh, yeah. This is more natural. Okay. Makeup? Thank you. Okay, I'm all set to play John McCain in the USS Forrestal. Ma'am, Barack Obama is not a Muslim, ma'am. I look like Stewie from Mad TV. Oh, that's so funny. Mad TV's Stewie was perhaps one of the most iconic characters in modern times. His persona was spot on. Let's check this out.
I'm Doreen Larkin, Stuart's mother. You wanted to see me? Hi, this cat.
Okay, there he is. We'll play this for you tonight. Thank you. Oh, you're so nice. Sexy hair like Stewie. Oh, and there's Donald Trump with his lovely girlfriend. What was her name again? Oh, yeah, Ivanka. Oh, daddy's little girl. Look at that. Thank you, man. There you have it. Always very close to her dad. Very close. And then Enigma Communion will be coming up in a little bit too. Wow, this is pretty depressing. Sacrilege. What's this look, Dave? It's Wig Wednesday, and I want to just squeeze in a little wig toward the end of the show just to see how it looks. Yeah, it works once you get it going. You know, you got to get a little bit more natural in here. You know, like a party dude. Hey man, what's going on, dude? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally. Are you going out to a party, dude? Cool. Yeah, that's kind of the personality I'm pushing. Hey, we're up to 76 million? 79 million so far. We've got a count. It's called the TrumpGolfCount.com. And they're keeping track of the money that our government's spending to keep Trump inactive golfing. The guy who said that he would never golf, that he disliked Obama golfing, has now spent $79 million on his golfing. Meanwhile, he cut programs like Meals on Wheels, a $3 million program for your grandpa and grandma to live in their little hovel with a lunch provided by Meals on Wheels. They won't be able to get that lunch anymore because of his cutbacks. Yeah, but he's not cutting his golfing. He loves it. You go, Donald. You continue raping our country of every dollar we ever had. Yeah, and then don't forget to sell us out to the cheapest, lowest bidder, too. Yeah, Russia. Oh, it turns out Russia has the deal. Oh, good. Trump is not fat. He's stout. He's got a little bit of incredible bigliness to him. Oh man, are you still thinking about that, Howie? God, you're fixating on women, man. David, please go after Trump for tax evasion after you become president. Oh yeah, tell me about it. That's what I don't understand, Guest 133. Why has Mueller not gone after those tax returns? It makes no sense. Yeah, makes no sense at all. It would be something I would expect Mr. Mueller to go after right away. It's not right. Mr. Trump is probably trying to make money from the Russian mob. And we don't even know his tax returns, whatever they are. Oh, I'll gladly show you my tax returns. No problem for 10 years. No problem. Yeah, and then he won't return that promise. He won't follow up with the tax returns. It's crazy, everybody. Okay, thank you for coming in. It's been fun. It's been real. It's not been, no, it hasn't been real fun. No. Well, this is what we're protecting, in case you're wondering. What America's Third Party is all about, protecting the environment and saving a tremendous amount of toxic waste from going into it. These are the beautiful animals that we're trying to protect. Okay, signing off, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Take care.